Hello, gamers. How are you all doing today? We're going to be taking a look at Mythic Games tournament for Super Fantasy Brawl. I'm GloryHoundd. This is
DrGloryHogg.
And we also have...
I'm so excited for this. I've spent so long staring in a mirror preparing what I was going to say right now, which was that. I just said it.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it. I spent hours.
I spent hours prepping that entry ever. Excited. That was very concise. I like it, Jesse. I like it. Jesse from Quackalope. That was really good. I like it.
I like that you included the screen of me in a swamp.
Oh, well, it was really good because you were just there, and I was like, oh, this is some interesting background.
That's where you live, right? With the other ogres?
Oh,
like in a swamp?
As many ducks as I can find. That's my standard.
All of the ducks. And then we also have our lovely, lovely chat involved today as well. So we talk specifically with our chat and our audience. So if you guys are interested in talking back with us or commenting on what's happening in this tournament, go ahead and let us know. And we will pull up your comments. Let's see here.
If you can dodge a mini, you can dodge an ice cream truck.
Let's see here. Does this tournament have brackets or is it unfair tournament like Mortal Kombat? That would be fantastic.
Where you just fight Gordo like right away. First thing you fight the 4-arm guy. Like that's the first fight. That would be the best Mortal Kombat ever. Because if you can, if you can fight a guy with 4 arms, you're pretty good. Like going throughout the rest. You're like, oh, you got lightning? It's way better than 4 arms.
I like to win early. I like to win strong. Just one tournament. As long as I win that one, I've got it. Right? That's how this works.
Boss.
I think
so. Straight to the boss.
Who else do we have in chat today? We have Nathan and Battle Cry, Petter. Hello, Alyssa or Alessandro. Hello, Big Baz. How are you all doing today? So it looks like the tournament has not started just yet. We're waiting for some players as we go along here. I'll go ahead and show you all. What else is going on?
Well, and just for the record, I believe this is a bracketed tournament. I believe they're doing it the fair way. But the video that we put up just this morning, I destroyed my opponent. So I believe I'm the ultimate victor of this entire thing. I think that qualifies, right?
Yeah, no, that qualifies.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I know I played Fantasy Brawl last night, and I completely destroyed the doctor. So I mean,
she complained the whole time. She's like, "You always win this. This is so unfair. You're just gonna win." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, and I get 3 trophies, and I'm gonna kill your guy in reaction, and I win."
Do I sense a competition of champions going on? Is there a little bit of like interplay between hosts right now? We're gonna have to settle this.
Well, maybe.
I guess it's just you two as the 2 reigning champions. I mean, my record is 5-1, but it's cool. It's cool. I guess you guys are the reigning champions. Have fun.
1 loss was enough.
You're only as good as your last battle, so that's fine. That's fine.
Well, that's it. That's it. That was the one that you save face for is that last battle. You're like, oh, that's where I get bracketed up. That's what happens to you in Magic.
Yes.
You're like, you do so well, and then you get to the one that counts, and you're like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I'm like, all I gotta do is win 1 more match in the next 3, and then I'll just lose 3 in a row. And I'm like, cool, that happens. So, all right, I'm out.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it's gonna go on Super Fantasy Brawl for our players today.
I do think that technically a hound would be a duck, though, just in general.
What do you mean?
Because like a dog versus a duck,
on the mini throne. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I will claim the mini throne as my own.
The mini throne.
Let's see here. I've also got the Doctor game and Watch with me today. This is his name now. Dexter's obsessed with retro games these days. I love retro games. Oh my goodness. Hello, Andrew. So, oh my goodness, we still looking for that. Don't look at the brackets right now. We're putting brackets together right now. Oh my goodness, is our game in session? I'm getting excited. Hold on.
I just can't wait to be like full commentator.
Well, I know. Like, okay.
That means I just get to talk about like flavor text the entire time, right? Is that why they brought me on?
That's exactly why they brought you on.
Great.
Going over all of the characters last night, do you have any favorites as far as which ones you like to play in general?
Yeah, personally, Gwen, I think that's, or Gwen. I've got all the decks next to me right here. Her ability to teleport and then attack from a long distance away. I have such a good time pairing her up with some heavy hitters. So that's what I had playing on the video that went up last night. I had 2 really brawny brawlers, and then I had her popping around the map and just sniping people.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
What about you all?
I'm a big fan of her as well. Let's see here. Last night, who was I playing with? I was playing with Marzuz, which is like the tiger. I love him. Like, but
the sword.
For some reason, that character for me, like I go in just swinging, and then like he always dies. He always dies multiple times throughout the round.
You get confident because you've got that 9 health on him, but you forget the fact that he's strong, but he's going to be able to get hit without any shields.
Yeah, absolutely. And those shields matter so much during game. A lot of times I will have a bunch of characters that don't have shields as I'm playing, and then I'll forget that another character has a shield as I'm going along, and I'll be like, yeah, that's 4 damage over there. And they're like, no.
I'm interested to see what some actual strategic skilled players do, because my approach has been one of two things. Either go towards one tower and just claim it for myself for the entire round, or immediately rush the other person's face and just try to like scratch them to death. Neither one. They both win about 50% of the time. So if I see some people copying my strategy, I'm going to be very proud.
Just scratch him in the eyes and you're fine.
It's a bold move. Just go
it's what I use in real life. It's what I use in game.
What is it? Paws out, claws out, right?
Just going at people. That's fair.
I like Battlecry's post down here. One shall stand, one shall fall.
Let's see here. 100% here for the lore dumps. Ooh,
okay.
The lore based on it. Dr. GloryHogg, you're usually a big fan of the lore.
Just drop that on me. That's cool.
Lore, go.
Yeah. So what do you have?
Magic, ketchup magic, and mustard magic. And those 3 magics combined basically
no, I don't. Okay.
I don't think that's how that works.
No.
I don't think that's how that
No.
works.
I've actually got my teeth in this one, all right? So when it comes to the lore and world of Super Fantasy Brawl, what you're actually doing is you have mages and wizards who have gotten tired of the mundane existence of eternal life, right? And they've started going back in time, searching for the best time periods and the best beasts and creatures and warriors from their day and age. They're teleporting them into this arena. They're fighting, placing bets, trying to add a little bit of spice to their existence, to the mundaneness of what's happening. And all the creatures in Super Fantasy Brawl are actually perfectly fine after the event. They're fully healed up by the wizards. They're sent back into their original time, so they don't mess everything up. Because when you start playing with teleportation from other regions in the past, you're risking a little bit along the way.
I mean, there's some like Men in Black mind wipe stuff going on too. So they just they don't go back and be like, I just fought a crocodile.
I think there probably has to be, but yeah. So there's this big culture and study in this civilization where they are trying to find out who's the best for this match, what time period you take them from, and they're all searching through like the annals and records of history to discover beasts and creatures that just no one's found before.
You know what would really happen though is like, so we've got this infinite energy, right? And we can do anything we want. So we decide to set up a Roman Colosseum style battles for fun. I'd be like, House Cat versus Tiger. What happens? You just be pulling random things in all the time.
No, not when you've got your fame and reputation. That's all they have left, these wizards. They've lived for way too long. All they have left is the reputation.
So they have like on a personal level. So I've definitely lived way too long.
If they mind wipe them, like afterwards or when you come out of it, you're like, I feel like I was in danger.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh gosh, there's something bad happened.
Your heart's pumping.
Mythic didn't tell me that this was a thing, but I think they're really just setting up for the Horned Duck to make an appearance in the next Kickstarter. I think that's got to happen, right? Think about it.
Cool.
Think about it.
Is that how you end up in so many games? You just insert yourself and then just hope they hear that.
I do.
Like,
I tell lore stories and then get people to quack at them aggressively, and then sooner or later they're like, "Leave us alone. We'll put you in it." And I'm like, "That works for me. I'll claim it."
That's actually I got her to marry me. I just quacked at her until she was like, "All right, fine, I accept."
Does that work?
It does work. You should try it.
So you have to find the right type of duck.
So Jan, my co-host, he's going to be here next weekend when we're doing this tournament again. Jan, my co-host, I'm just going to have to quack at him significantly more.
Yeah.
That's how you get your partner. You
That's
just quack.
I've got big dreams. I want a business partner and a life partner.
And drive. You don't quack at him to get him into the car and stuff.
It's not just the quacking. You have to also have the display as well. You have to do the display. Okay. So you have to get
some tail feathers. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more goose, but I got you.
We'll talk privately about this later. I mean, I really need to figure this out.
You bring him a pebble, and then and if it's the best pebble he's found, then you're good.
I think in this way, you bring them a board game and then you quack at them. And if it's the best board game and it's a nice quack, then you're good to go.
There's something about taking an egg and balancing it on your feet over the cold winter months. And then, I guess in summertime, then you get hitched. Nice. I don't know.
So let me ask you a strategy question, because I've been going through this. I've been doing some research, and there's something that I realize I probably haven't been utilizing much, and I'm kind of curious to see how the actual players do. It has to come with planning, where you're actually able to top deck some cards from your hand. Do you guys utilize that very much? Because I think it's an essential part of the strategy that I really have not taken advantage of.
Oh, I always use it. Some characters are definitely much better at it than others. Your like kind of supporting characters are really good about letting you plan a bunch. I really enjoy it because I almost always throw a reaction in there. Like if I'm worried that she's going to try to push me out of one of the zones I need to stay in, I always try to plan and leave a reaction there so I know I'll have that reaction in hand. So when she goes to push me, she just can't.
Yeah, I want to see a lot of utilization of that. I'm excited to see how some people execute on strategies, because like I said, for most of my gameplay so far, I've drawn up into my hand and just cycled through, worked with the 5 cards that I've got. But there's a depth to the way that you can chain and start pairing things together. I'm also curious to see, do you guys still pick your squad based off of how cool the characters look? Because I'm still there. I don't think our players today are going to be quite that service level.
So I found that there are some strategies in there that seem to work really well together. Like if you have a character that works really well with Bloodied, then it seems like you can kind of pair that up, right? And so kind of get like some synergy there.
Yeah.
But I do typically go, like, I think the first characters I picked was just like, I'll pick these 3. Like the 3 that are just in this actual game tray. And then, like, the second time, I was like, I'm going to pick the ones that look like they all have, like, a jungle thing going on. So I picked, like, Cole and, like, Lorelei. And then I was like, and then Taze, he's a centaur. I'm sure he lives near a tree or something. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
They all look like they live together in the same area.
They would know each other. And I figured their proximity to each other would make some type of, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja style, like, synergy. Like, by growing up together, they would fight together as a team.
I think that's accurate somehow.
Yeah, I think that's how that works. If you grow up near somebody, you'd actually be a better ninja with them than somebody who lives across town. That's like known. That's a known thing.
It looks like Mark got the game but has not played it yet. Mark, you are missing out. Like, it is such a fun game to get into, and it's so easy as far as like looking at the cards and knowing exactly kind of how to do everything. Like everything's really nicely labeled on everything. So it's actually just a real gem to like get into and play and everything. It's not overly complicated, but there's a lot of strategy involved. So get it to your table.
I'm so weird though, because there's a lot of characters here, and I've only really played with maybe like 7 or 8 of them, right? And I haven't even built a whole bunch of teams, but I'm already ready for the next wave. I'm like, what new characters are coming out? I just really enjoy these minis, and then the idea behind each of these characters, trying to think of like where they came from in time, right? When you've got like this flaming eagle, and you've got this like druid person who's got like this using thorns to make these like elementals and stuff, you're just like, man, where did they pull these people from?
A lot of good creativity.
I like the pirate themes and barbarian themes that are kind of underneath. Like I want to dive back and learn a little bit more about like the like you're saying, the civilizations and the cultures that they're ripping me, and what the experience must be like to spawn into a stadium and immediately go to battle.
Oh, yeah, no, that would be crazy. Like, if we just spawned into a stadium, there's like, maybe like a donut in the middle of the ring? You're
Again,
like, Arr!
I'm going for the eyes. You put a donut in front of me, I'm not holding back.
Especially if it's morning. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I could see, I was going to say, since I know you and in the morning and stuff, if you just put a coffee out there and it was like, whoever stands gets that coffee, it's a fight to the death.
Absolutely. You're going down. Like, no joke.
We're going to learn more about your relationship than I think I anticipated.
More than you're comfortable with. That's what we always hear.
You don't know what I'm comfortable with.
Fair. Where do the centaurs come from? Oh, yeah, trees. Hey, you know what, Fatal Paper Cut? That's where they come from. Centaurs come from trees. They're tree adjacent.
I was going to say, you specifically said they at least stand next to one tree.
Yeah, have you never played World of Warcraft in the Barrens? They're right next to the tree areas where all the centaurs are.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. That's very true. That's exactly where you go to find them when you want one for battle.
Yeah, like you go, there's a little pond, then there's like the palm trees, and then the centaurs are just running around out there, and you're like, all right, they're tree adjacent.
I think whenever I'm picking characters, I always like that first time it definitely was about the looks of it for me. But that second time I noticed that there are clearly support characters in here. And pairing those support characters with characters that are going to be heavy hitters and then more maneuverable characters is super, super key to your strategies going in. And so after that, I was like, ooh, I really love these because I'm such a like support character player where I want to go through and I want to have these characters that are pumping up other ones as I go through.
She's a liar.
No, I'm saying
You're
like
100% a mage. You go in and you're like fireball, fireball, fireball.
But you need the
Support
people
character.
to help supply the fireballs, and I'm down with that.
So the people that you burn to gain the energy, you can use it. So you're a necromancer, basically, of some sort.
Well,
that's fair.
That's one aspect of it. That's one way you could say that.
There's no judgment here.
There should be some judgment, though.
All right, there's a little bit of judgment here.
A tiny, little smidgen of judgment.
We approve everything except for burning people.
Yeah, please, no sacrifices.
No. Yeah.
Keep that private.
I want to see, though, because you're talking about support characters in this, and I'll be honest, I haven't yet run a team that is predominantly support-based, and I'm wondering if that is something that they playtested, if that's a feasible goal, because there's so much about winning in this game that doesn't just have to do with hitting the other person over the head.
Yes.
If you can move quicker, if you can be a little bit more agile, if you can get to the locations you need and hold those zones for one round, I think there's probably a pretty strong strategy around that.
Oh. That's how I've always won before. Like Lorelei is very much a support character because she does healing and she does plan. But then if you've got Taze, he can actually hit really hard, but he's mostly all about dashing all over the board.
Yes.
So between those two, you can pretty much push people out of the way. You can plan to make sure you have the reactions. You can squat in the spots you need to. And then if you plan it right, as soon as those trophies move, you're like, boom, now I'm going to get 2 trophies.
Yeah.
Just for being near this pedestal. And that's, or this statue. And I think that's definitely a huge part of it, because just trying to beat people down is hard to do when they just come right back.
Oh, absolutely.
Axel,
it's convenient. Like if they're on the ground, you give them a little kick.
Axel popped in, left a comment saying, have a good game. Thank you so much. Excited to have you watching. Hopefully you enjoy the commentary. The game will be good. The commentary, subpar.
Yeah. It's the best that they can afford. They spent all the money on the game, not so much on us. That's fair.
Well, that's okay. It's okay.
I was talking about myself. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. And GloryHogg, I'm sorry, I'm gonna set you off of this one for a moment. Cat, GloryHoundd, this whole show, like everything that's up and running, the stuff that you all do, I'm just the beneficiary of this. Like genuinely, if anyone's watching this, head over and support what you do on a daily or weekly basis, because this is awesome. I never would have multiple screens. I just have me screaming into the screen and a few ducks. That's about the extent of my skill.
Yeah, it's mostly like little quacks and then you yelling angrily at the screen like an old man yelling at the clouds.
Darn you!
Why do you exist, you fucking little cloud?
That's what I can imagine people are going to be doing during the tournament. Like as soon as the play goes down or the end, you're like,
oh yeah.
But you scream into the screen. It's not as like intense whenever you're in real life.
That's what I've seen so far. The Snoop Dodge is going to win just because they're actually online, and that is a key part of the strategy. To be at the game.
Look, showing up is a core start.
90% of it.
I'm pretty sure it is. Mark, I'm only playing casual, so I'm curious to see the competitive play. I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
We are also curious.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that when did we get Super Fantasy Brawl? When it came off of the Kickstarter. So it's only been this year. So we've only been able to discover, I want to say probably about 2/3 of the characters as we go through. So we haven't actually played with every single character yet. But
none of the ugly characters. We skipped over them.
I think I'm between 8 and 10 games deep with about 5 other players. And the only game I've had a blast with every single game except the one that I played against Jan, my co-host, and that's just because I beat him so thoroughly. I felt bad for both of us during that experience.
Wow.
So when he's here next week, just bring that up, please.
So we will. So we hear that you lose at Super Fantasy Brawl all the time. How's that going for you?
How did you get on here? Is it because you know Jesse? Because I know he whooped you really bad in Super Fantasy Brawl, so you really don't have a place at this table.
Do you need anything to apply to those burns that you have from Jesse whooping up on you?
Yeah, I'm gonna send him this link. Thank you so much for the support. Colin's in here with Table 1 hype. I 100% agree.
Yes, I know, right? I'm like, I want to see this happen.
This show is honestly just a trick to see how long we all can be moderately entertaining.
Well, not looking at anything.
This failed attempt at quality entertainment was brought to you by Quackalope and GloryHoundd.
There you go.
And this is how it always goes. So.
That's fair. That's fair. I like to feel like this is what I bring to the table. It's just innate chatter for no reason.
You're bringing it all today, okay?
Just all of it.
What is it? This is a silly place. Let's not go there.
I'm not sure what you're referencing, but I approve.
Battlecry is here really just to mock me. He's like my own personal heckler. He just follows me around to mock me. Either we're really good friends or he actually doesn't like me. It's one of those two things. You're only
going to find out whenever you go to a convention and then you get a quack or you get a slap.
There you go.
Yeah, he either has a very, very, stern conversation with you or you guys are best friends immediately.
That's right.
I like how her go-to is like, you're either going to get a quack or a slap. I have a feeling that's going to be your next segment. And should I quack or slap? In this video today, I want you to... No, I'm just kidding.
No, you didn't go slow enough.
For you. Yeah, it's not slow enough. You're right. Sorry.
Would you like to? Let's see. Mythic Games. Rocky start, but I think we're good to go now. Thanks for doing this, y'all.
I'm so excited. Like, I want to see these traps laid down. I want to see our characters.
We're tossing in some jokes and stuff like that here, but the first round, getting up and running, like, props to these two for being the first people that are going to sit down on the stage.
Absolutely.
Excited to see this tournament run. And it always takes a little bit to get TTS coordinated and up and running.
Oh, yeah. And I would much rather do this, what we're doing, than have to be the first people to play live. And
I don't want to play live.
Oh, gosh, right?
What I did last night, I just I'll leave her in this yellow area. It's fine. And then she got like 3 trophies, and I was like,
yeah. So
I wouldn't want that to be live for people like having that memory of like, oh yeah, I remember when DrGloryHogg just messed
I remember when DrGloryHogg basically gave trophies away.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is I won the game I put up. That's all I'm throwing out there.
Smart.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, I think we only saw the one table right now that's starting as far as the scheduling goes. I'll have to take a look at the pairings and everything.
I can take a look if you'd like. Though.
Yeah, go ahead. Hold on here. Let's take a look.
You just take a closer look at
we'll take a quick look at the different tables and see if any others have started. I know that they're going to be doing several games today, so I would love to go through and be able to see multiple ones going on as they're going on here. Let's see here. I've only played 4 games so far. And lost all of them, but I love it. Looking forward to seeing this tournament and how others play. I think that's the biggest thing is seeing how other people play because the game is so new and you don't have a meta. You don't have a full strategy on everything. You kind of have the characters that you love and have a good synergy together and that you're going to play for this tournament. I don't know if we have any like super competitors really coming in here just yet because of that.
Listen, Big Baz, I've told you I gave you the best strategy from the very start. Go for the eyes.
Go for the eyes.
We just retitle this stream.
Yay! Okay, we should have some other games up and running. So we'll take a look here in just a few minutes. So let's see here. Did we go over our favorite characters? I have what's my favorite character? Oh yeah, my favorite character is Sulka.
Yeah.
Right here. Sulka.
There we are.
Super creepy. So first off, I'm just going for creep factor. If I can go ahead and make my opponent get super creeped out, that always helps. But I really like the shadiness of Sulka where she can go through objects. And I think that's really important to maneuverability in this game because we talked about the support characters and how important it is to be on those particular places that you need to be. And it's not necessarily about doing damage all the time because if you kill a character, you get 1 trophy, but being in the right place at the right time at the start of your turn is the most important thing you can do in the game. And that makes it so strategic. I love it so much. Like, it is so exciting. All right, let's see here. Ta-da! All right, we got a game up. Who's playing here?
So it looks like we have Galdar, we have Cole.
Oh, I was talking about our contestants. And now for our contestants. Who do we have?
Back there. We got that orc with a giant sword. He always looks really cool.
We have Kadar and Captain Morrow.
I like Captain Morrow's picture here. That's solid. That's a solid Tabletopia picture.
So it looks you gotta lead with your strengths.
Right.
There you go. So it looks like they have Sulka and Nevermore, that's a combination that you like to use.
Oh yeah, Sulka and Nevermore are 2 fantastic kind of support characters because Nevermore does damage from a distance, basically. I really like his swoop move where you can swoop in, and if somebody has all their characters lined up, you can swoop through 4 different squares. So like you can swoop through several characters and not only injure them, but you're also fearing them. You're creating that chaos, and then you can have Sulka going in there and kind of picking out places that they want to be and stuff and adding support. And I really like that combination. And then you can have one super heavy hitter in there. I think Go ahead.
Go ahead. Storm, you're fine.
One of my favorite combinations is that Sulka, Nevermore, and the Marsus, because you have that heavy hitter that you just throw out there as like cannon fodder. Then you have these two other characters just doing all sorts of stuff on the board.
So it looks like right now we have 2 control areas is what they're positioning for. Control the creation area and the manipulation area there. So if you pull back onto the map, we'll be able to get a sense of what they're trying to position and do at the moment.
It looks like they're both kind of going after that creation area right now, or the blue area.
And Andrew says, I have not played yet, and I'm wondering if I should get it or not. I have heard fantastic things, though, Andrew. It's super easy to get into. Such an enjoyable play.
If you like fun, lightweight skirmish games that you can get to the table quickly, provide a lot of options when it comes to team builds, and aren't just about beating up your opponent, but are more about strategic positioning and movement, with some head-to-head combat, I think it's a good one. I think it's a really good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like from what I'm seeing over here, it looks like, so they've got Nevermore parked in the yellow area, but it looks like they are battling it out over the blue area.
Oh, the team motto, aim low. Aim low.
Go for the legs, scratch out the eyes.
That's how you do it. Oh, fantastic. We should have some matchup information. Let me go check on that while you guys take a look at everything.
Sure. See what cards they're actually up to.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. What are the teams that are built out, and how are they positioning themselves? So usually when it's a little bit of control, I see the teams, they're kind of splitting off. Like you said, the blue area is being a little bit dominated. There's not much focus on that yellow, which could leave an open spot for someone to get a trophy. But how I usually approach a situation where you've got territory control happening on multiple fronts is I'll have one person that I know can shove and push over defending one of them, not really trying to claim it for themselves, but being ready to react when your opponent sets down. And then I'll usually move in with a heavy hitter and then someone that's good at moving quickly and efficiently over into that other territory. And so my assumption would be that's a little bit of what they're doing head to head over in that blue zone at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's always nice that if you do have a character you're not really utilizing immediately in the match, just to kind of park them in another area. So when it does come up, you've already got somebody there ready to control, like they have with Nevermore here in this yellow area, where if they're not careful, they'll just win it with just one character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then, like, you just feel bad. If you have somebody win something with one character, you're like, why am I so bad at this?
But sometimes you don't have the time or the right cards to make your way across the board in just one turn and push somebody. It does take time. And I think the really interesting aspect of this is that you have to set up to win your trophy, and then your opponent has their whole turn to basically disrupt your plans.
So here at our table 2, we have Captain Morrow, who is actually Daniel Edvidson, and for Kadar, it's Pleric, and I apologize, you have a very interesting name, Damonux, I think. I'm not for sure on that. But we do have Petrick and Daniel here today. And no Fatal, we are just commenting. We're not actually playing today. It's actually nice.
We're too strong. We're just too good.
It's actually nice not playing as opposed to like playing and commenting at the same time. Because if I was actually playing this game and trying to comment, I would lose because I'm trying to comment with everybody. But 2, I would be so focused on what I was doing, I wouldn't be able to comment the same way. So
listen, GloryHoundd,
we're definitely not playing.
I'm just throwing this out there. I'm totally not opposed at the end of week 3 when this tournament's wrapping up. Whoever's claiming their trophy, maybe the commentators need to do a little bit of head-to-head. See who can dominate the board state. See what we've learned.
I would be down for that. I'd be down
From
for
what
like
I've learned, I need to fight Jan. That's what I've learned.
Listen.
So we'll go Hound versus the Duck, right? And then we'll do the side characters.
You know, the Hog versus the Goose.
There you go.
I gotta be honest though, I'd be significantly more scared of a goose.
Gooses are mean. Why are they so mean?
It's because their necks are so long.
Is that it?
Yeah.
The longer your neck. Well, what about giraffes then?
Oh, they're super mean.
I don't
Mess
think
around
so.
with the giraffe. Do you see any giraffes in America? No, because they're mean. We kick them out.
Dr. GloryHogg, your reputation precedes you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Is that it? Let's see here. And that is action you can only see here on ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Yeah. Well, what was it the other day I saw somebody broadcasting. It was like, it wasn't Halo, but it was one of those esports, and they were broadcasting, but it was like ESPN 32 or something. I was like, this is so cool. Finally, something I'd watch on ESPN, but it was like on ESPN 32.
We need this on ESPN 46. I mean, this is what we need up here.
Number 46.
I'm just waiting for someone to...
Number 46 specifically, or maybe 42. 42 is a good number too. Maybe
the
ESPN
parents
42.
the parents don't actually tell us what characters they're playing on as, do they?
Yeah,
they don't.
We're gonna have to be checking their boards to see what the team makeup is, because the bases are just white with the mod here.
You want this?
Yeah, here, let me see this here.
Hands free. She's taking over.
There we go. Okay, so
she's going to do double mouse. She's going to use the mouse for one and the mouse for the other one. It's going to be amazing.
All the mice. I have all the mice here.
Well, they're not playing as those characters because those characters are still back.
Still back?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try to see.
And this does add a whole different,
here.
kind of wrinkle to it with it being tabletop sim, right? Or by Tabletopia, I'm sorry.
Tabletopia.
Is that, you have to kind of like maneuver around. Oh, there you go. You found it pretty easily. So one team is the Nevermore, Galdar, and Collet. So Collet is really good too. She's got like different like lizard lick abilities. I don't know how else to say that. But they actually help her maneuver around and actually move other players pretty easily.
Goldar's a very, very interesting character as well. I mean, he's one of those pirates that I was referencing earlier.
Okay.
He's gonna have a lot of actions that move him across the board and do some heavy damage if he's able to get in your face. I kind of see him as a bruiser most of the time.
Doesn't he have like a harpoon action or something where he can like pull?
He can totally like fish a hook out and then rope you back in. So if you're a ranged character, depending on where you're positioned, you could be a little bit more vulnerable to him.
So essentially what he's doing is that move in the club where you go like this, you throw it out, and then you reel him in. Yeah.
I've never been to a club.
Oh.
Is it because you're too young?
Oh.
They don't let me into clubs yet. Or is it because you got that cool Kentucky haircut that you got done?
I got that haircut done in Alabama.
Yeah.
In Alabama. And then it was a mistake? Oh no.
Look, you should not, I'm just gonna say this. You should not go to a Great Clips in Alabama to get yourself cleaned up. It's
they were like, because didn't you tell me you want a little bit off the sides and they just shaved like the side of your head?
Just a touch off the sides, and we're still regrowing the
still working on it.
They shaved off. I think we're just sticking to it.
It was pretty great. I think that should be your new style now.
They're probably so proud of themselves too. They're probably like, that guy has so much hair, and we just took care of that.
Listen, here's the worst part. I also got a shampoo done because I was on the road for a little while traveling, and I don't know. I've never had a shampoo done at a hair salon before, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on this. But are they supposed to use the coldest water possible?
No, the one I go to always does it, but they always use like really warm water and they put like that hot towel on their face and stuff.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a relaxing experience. Then they like massage your scalp and they're like, "Would you like a soda, sir?" And I'm like, "I'll take Dr. Pepper."
No, see, I got my hair buzzed, and then I got like drenched in ice water for a solid 60 to 90 seconds, and that was the experience.
I'll tell you the worst haircut I ever got is when I first joined the military, and I didn't realize that you had to have your head shaved. So I was like, yeah, just get it short, like I think like a high and tight, and they were like, cool. And they literally just have a vacuum hose attached to buzz cutters, and they just and they're like, all right, you're done. And you're like, cool. That's not what I asked for. And then you have to pay them.
So it looks like here,
Shulk and Taze are getting a significant amount of damage on them pretty early on. Korvash is going to be in a pretty bad position here, honestly. Piling up, already bloodied because he's just getting over that 4 position. And I'm not sure, but I believe, does Goldar and some of those others have abilities that trigger when characters are bloodied?
I don't think Goldar does. I don't think
Sulka does either, as far as like bloodied on that. Yeah.
And not Sulka. And I know Taze doesn't. Taze doesn't have bloody. Taze is all about dashing all over the place.
Yep.
He's like the Dash Prince.
That's not super great though. That's not good.
But the one advantage is that sometimes it's worth sacrificing your characters if you can still control an area, which is more important.
Absolutely.
Well,
They're just
we already
all about getting those trophies.
We already have so this team over here already has 2 trophies secured. What's the position of the other team there? It looks like only 1 potentially.
Yeah, because they're sitting all over that.
Only a single trophy, so it looks like potentially he's put himself a little bit more vulnerable to damage, but secured some victory points in the process, which could be the difference.
It makes a huge difference. It's not about necessarily how many people that you have down or how much damage you have on there. It is those trophies and making sure that you get those. You get your 5 trophies so you can win. Like, it's tough because you don't have to beat the other people necessarily. You just have to make sure you're in the right place at the right time. That's what's important,
What's that newest condition that just popped out here? We've got control the
control the enemy deployment area.
Deployment area.
That is interesting.
That is a hard one I find to secure. I usually plan to try to get that when someone's left their gate vulnerable. If I'm able to just kind of sneak behind them and get it without people paying attention.
Yeah, I find the only way you can really do that is if you have somebody that can move really fast, like a Taser or somebody like that.
Yep.
And then you can just try to work that person over there and basically try to camp out that spot. But then you don't want to kill your opponent because then your opponent's going to end up right back at their gate and they're going to pop right out.
I'll tell you the perfect one for that. If we had Gwaine here on the table, this card right here, a jump 4, can position yourself almost anywhere on the map. That is enough. Once people are trying to secure a gate, like right now, that red zone is where they're paying attention to. That is enough to pop behind and just do close down that victory right towards the middle to secure 2 trophies at the same time.
Nevermore is on the map though. Nevermore has a big swoop 4 like that too.
Nice, very nice.
Which essentially does the same thing. Plus does damage a lot of times when you swoop through people. Or I'm sorry, it doesn't do damage but causes fear, which makes them move.
Makes them run away.
Yeah, it'll run away from you.
So let's hear. Hello, Mr. Gaviola. He says, hi, friends, Quack.
Oh, Ruel. Nice to see you, sir.
Table 3, Von Ravica, win 5-0. Oh, my gosh.
Holy
I didn't even
cow.
see table 3 pop up.
Yeah, no kidding. That was super fast. Fabrice, congrats on that.
It'll be interesting to see some of these people if they just continue to dominate as they go up the brackets, right?
Absolutely.
Put that one on your radar. Either really effective strategy or the best card draw possible for the team they built out. I'm going to lean towards strategy. You don't do 5-0 without executing some pretty disgusting moves.
Probably played some games. Probably played a couple of games.
Yeah.
What do you think? 76?
Definitely at least 76 games or above on that. Do we want to take a look at another table? If we go back to our other table there and see.
Yeah, let's pop.
See what they're doing. Yeah. I have the pairings, but I do not have exactly all of their starting times, so I'm not sure who we're going to find here.
So I'm seeing the 2 games that are up right now. So I'm seeing the one we were on originally is still up.
Well, let's go back to the ones that we were on originally with Colin and Jason on it. I want to see if they're up and running and that they're doing any better. If not, we'll pop back to table 2.
If one of them ends up
table
being
3
offline.
went so fast. I can't believe that went so fast on table 3. I didn't even get a chance to go over there and look, Fabrice. You got to slow it down a little bit, okay? We got to be able to check it out. with such an epic win, you need to make sure.
If they're paying attention, let us know what the team that won 5-0 was. What was that makeup? What was that build for that victory there?
Ooh, yeah. No progress made, sadly. Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't
so
look
sad,
like
Colin.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the first table has gone. It looks like they're having connectivity issues where one is on and the other one's on and stuff like that, which that can happen. They might have to end up just calling that one due to issues.
Or maybe doing it later or something. All right, let's head on back over to the other table then. Yeah, I think that would be really awesome. I hope Fabrice is still on so they can go ahead and give us a little bit of commentary on that, on exactly
let us know what happened and what you built. What happened there?
Right. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, tell us that winning team, for real. Not that I'll use that next time.
I want to sit here and stare at the cards so I understand what exactly could have went together.
Well, basically what we're doing is we're getting our own pro tips now. So like as soon as we start talking to everybody and we start getting all the filtered down information of
Table
what characters,
flip final move.
Yeah, what characters are doing really well, like that's going to be my lineup for next time with DrGloryHogg.
So if I use this creation and destruction spell at the same time, it looks like I could just flip the table and I win all 5 trophies. Weird.
Reasonable. Works better in person, though, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's much more dramatic in person. Absolutely. You get more eyes to your table with that one, like nobody's missing it.
I'm so excited to Tabletopia is an awesome platform. I'm excited that the tournament's starting to get up and running now. But when we're able to like see people carry in their crates of painted miniatures and set them down, that's going to be such a cool experience.
Yes, I cannot wait for that, and I cannot.
Have you all started painting any of them yet?
No.
Okay.
Sadly, we never have a bunch of time to paint a bunch of miniatures.
Neither do I.
We always have like half painted miniatures with everything. And eventually, if we really love a set like this, we end up asking somebody like, can you just on the DL paint our miniatures? And
so if there's any painters out there, GloryHoundd and I are both willing to ship off our core boxes if there's any painters out there that want to do a treatment.
Absolutely. There we go. All right.
It is that's a whole different skill set, just painting them.
Goodness.
Typically, I'm like always just trying to fit in another game, so I don't have time to try to paint something usually.
You all have some of the models right there in front of you, I believe. These are pretty friendly models to paint with big clean surfaces. So I don't know that it would take too long to make them look good.
No, I don't think so. I think you could do a real basic, even just a wash on them would make them look a little bit, highlight some of the cool parts about them for sure.
Yeah, when you have a big, fantastic mini like that and so defined and everything, it becomes so much easier to paint. But painting these miniatures has just changed over the years. Everybody's doing such amazing detail on things.
We need to use Project X for
I know
scale,
who that
so people
is.
know how big these minis are.
Project X has given me some bad evenings.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Project X is we've ran through Reichbusters 3 times live. And Project X smashed our whole team. We smashed 3 of our Reichbusters in 1 turn, it seemed like.
It's brutal.
The very first time Jen and I played, we did a tutorial, and then we were like, you know what? Let's swing into Project X. We can handle this. We're gamers. We did really well up until the door broke open. Yeah.
And then he just starts running through walls like a really angry Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh no.
The worst version of Kool-Aid Man ever.
The worst version.
So let's see what's happening on the board here. How has this terrain changed? You can tell they're positioning for that red zone.
Definitely, and they're going through some traps,
Willing to step on some traps in order to get into that area and keep the opponent from securing it.
I mean, what's the worst trap? Is if you get 3 damage, I think is the worst trap.
I think 3 damage is going to be your heaviest hit. Some of those other stuns can be bad, but
yeah, stun can be bad. Usually it's a root, I find. So a lot of times I'll run right into a trap because I'm going to be stopping there anyways to try to hit my opponent.
3 damage though is so detrimental though, especially in a mid game where you might be losing characters and stuff like that is happening.
Just a flesh wound.
I'm not all about stepping on traps for no reason, okay? I go around those things like a normal person. If
you play Darren, though, she's all about the traps. She gets bonuses for being on trap spots. So, of course, she doesn't...
Bonuses for being on, and I believe can trigger traps from a little bit farther away, right? Really, really make you vulnerable if you're on a trap location.
Yes. And another cool thing about her, too, is once you kill somebody with her, which is pretty easy to do, because she's got some really heavy attacks with her crossbow and stuff, is then you can just sit on a trap and you get armor from being on a trap and you don't trigger it.
Nice.
So we have a comment here from Runeclaw that says, use the contrast paints from Games Workshop and you'll get a very good result without too much work. And after that, as you get better skills or free time, you can slowly add it to it and make it cooler, which that's a really good idea. I didn't even think about just putting the contrast, the little ink on it and stuff like that. Just inking them would define those features and really make them pop and stuff. Have you ever done that, Jesse?
I've done it with a few things. When I wanted to
get a little ink wash.
I had some games that were really mini focused that I wanted to get to the table fairly quickly, and so I did a quick airbrush base and then just a ink wash and spray over top. Just enough to give them texture, right? Turn it from that gray plastic into something that's already base primed and looking good on the table.
Ooh, somebody went off the board. Somebody just got roasted.
We just had Coel get knocked out.
Yeah. Which at least that character is fast. So if you get him back on the board, they can get back into the fight pretty quickly.
Pretty fast. It's not too far.
A lot of jumps happening with the deck. I'm looking through this right now. A ton of jumps, some good opportunities to draw cards and plan cards as well. A real support character. When we're talking about some people that can be strong support characters, Coel's going to get into position, but then also be able to really supplement the rest of your deck.
I find that I use that character the most, really, even if you're knocked out, is you just step back in, you do your jump, and then you push somebody out of the zone. And so then all of a sudden now you have control of that zone.
What is going on over here?
Yeah.
So much damage, but none of them have been knocked out.
Hanging on by a thread with all the characters. That's impressive. I wonder if they went for just like really high damage. No, not high damage characters, but characters with lots of health points. Because we have 9, 8, and 7 health on each of those. So,
but a lot of them don't have, like, none of them have any shields at all. So they're just like, any damage they get, they're just taking it.
But I'm wondering if that was the
Taze and
strategy.
Corvash are both going to be pretty heavy hitters as well. So really getting into the other person's face and just sticking your foot where you want to be and not moving.
And then someone can do all that mind magic from like really far away too.
Yep.
And Salim, sorry, we don't have any commentary in French or anything, and apologies. It's only our commentary here today, though. But hopefully, in the future, they'll be able to translate it via subtitles or something like that. That would be fantastic.
Really feel bad for anybody that has to translate anything that I've said into another language. I'm apologizing ahead of time.
They'll skip over.
It doesn't translate. It doesn't translate, is what it is.
There you go.
This is the German Kool-Aid man right here.
They'll just be like, mumble, 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 DrGloryHogg, mumble, mumble. There you go. It's good.
So we've got 3 trophies here on the side with a lot of damage. What's the opportunity here for a quick victory? It's only 1 trophy on the opposite side. If they're able to hold down that red area, this may close out the game. So really, I think our theory of putting themselves in a vulnerable position just to make sure they can secure those points. It's a totally viable strategy.
Absolutely. It's not about taking people off the board. I mean, that's helpful sometimes.
It's always good to get a quick trophy from knocking somebody out. But
Right.
The danger is going to be losing control of that area because you have so much damage already piled up on you. If someone's able to shift you out or get an attack and you haven't planned appropriately, you may be in a pretty vulnerable position.
Ooh, what do we have going on here?
Did someone just get removed again?
I think so.
Oh.
Try to scoot on over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is that going to be a 4th trophy? That is going to be a 4th trophy.
Are we taking just 1 character off? What's happening? Oh my gosh.
Well, that person's just resetting.
They're resetting theirs.
Getting ready. So they just ended their turn.
Let me go over to the other one. And we still got all their characters hanging on here.
Yeah.
I'm like riveted. I'm like, who's dying? What's happening?
I mean, they can only take 2 more hits on Sloka and then they're done. Taze should be fine, though. Taze is pretty good. And Taze has reactions that give armor, too. So just by having Taze in their lineup, there's going to be some reaction cards that can give somebody like a +1 armor and let them dash, I believe.
Yeah. With everybody being also in the middle, if you have a fast character that can get across the board in a couple turns, it would almost be worth it just to throw that character out, because in a few rounds here, those being in the other character's zone is going to be a huge trophy goal in the next few rounds here.
We had another card flip out here. What is this? What is this new trophy that's coming out now?
Okay.
Take a look at the trophies. So we got the red area, we've got control enemy deployment, and then have a champion in each deployment area.
Okay, that's another complicated one. I found those to be some of the most the most important when it comes to timing.
They're so challenging too, because usually the other player, exactly, and then sometimes the other player is already kind of close to their area, or if you take somebody out, like it immediately impedes what you're doing, because then they can just throw their character out back into their area, and then you have another battle going on. So like. Those are super, super hard to go ahead and do. Like, I mean, myself, I usually ignore them and move on to other things. I mean, I'm not very good at those ones.
I'm kind of a fan of them though, because sometimes you can trick your opponent into like basically bait them to kill your character, and then you just respawn right over that deployment area, and you're like, ah, now I'm here.
And then you're like, haha, sucker.
And they can work really well together too, because if you move all your characters into the enemy's control zone, and then they kill one of your characters, and now all of a sudden you're split, you're in both, and you're ready to get that next trophy on the very next turn. And if you're always it's like playing chess, right? If you always have your opponent in the position where they have to do something or you win, that's a good spot to be in. Because eventually they just won't have the right cards, or they'll like just not take the right action.
Okay, someone's setting a trap there right in front of. I believe that's Goldar there. That's hanging back. Just saying, you don't need to come this direction.
You know what?
Do you think Goldar's going to try to drag them through that trap, though? Because he can't pull them towards him.
Yeah.
Well, Soka, is Goldar and Soka on the same team here?
I want to say no, because Soka's
no, they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
So Soka could be in a vulnerable position there if Goldar has the card that they need.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, they're moving.
Oh my goodness.
You should help them out by helping them move their characters.
No, I don't think that's how that works.
Right in the middle of the tournament, just start moving their characters
just
around.
Start here, I'll fix this for you. I've got this. No, it's in Spectator. I don't think I can do that.
That's probably for the best.
I mean, you don't know till you start trying.
Well, there you go. I just start clicking on things. They're like, we know.
Start doing like a little hand circle, like, do this action.
Ooh, okay, so Anthony is on here. Let's see here. Table 6 here was also a 5-0 score.
Holy cow.
Oh my goodness.
Congratulations, Shinny. I am so sorry for the people who you were playing against. That is a rough battle.
No kidding. All right, I'm gonna go over.
Anthony, do you have if you have the lineup, if you can tell us what characters were playing during that showdown, and if there was any cool things that happened, let us know.
So that was Nicholas Demintley and against Jano San Jose, and that was Nicholas's win. So congratulations, Nicholas, on that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do you want to?
You know what this is indicating to me, that we've had two pretty sure secure victories that have happened already quickly in this tournament. One of the things that it's pointing out to me is that there is a degree of skill and experience you can get in this game that gives you a notable advantage. I have to think that it was a little bit more strategic planning, picking your team. That draft is so important, and we were joking about how we just sit down and we do a non-competitive whoever looks the coolest draft. But I think in a tournament scene like this, understanding your characters and how you might play against each other and responding to your opponent correctly is probably going to be where they started with a little bit of an advantage.
It looks like we got a win on this one here. They made it in the red area there.
Yeah, they held down. Yep. They held it down. They didn't, and no one got wiped out. I was expecting to potentially see someone get knocked out on this. Good for them. So this is going to be a 5-1.
Absolutely, and that was Kadir Petrick. Congratulations.
That's pretty crazy to me, because I think the worst loss I've had, well, the only loss I had was against you, but I lost by like 2 trophies. And usually our games are 4 to 5.
Usually very close. Like
within 2 trophies, right? Like, you're like, oh, it's 4 to 5, or oh, it's 4 to 6 because you triggered a double trophy situation. But that's it.
This is a different scene, though. This is a different level of play. I think you've got that lightweight. Yeah, you've got that lightweight, family-friendly, sit down and go head-to-head. You'll probably keep it pretty balanced because you both don't know too much about it. This is clearly showing that strategy can take a major turn. We're seeing such splits right now in the early games. I mean, I think that's awesome.
You want to refresh that and see? Sorry, looking for tables right now. So... wow, there's been some huge blowouts on this. Like, I just want to know what characters they played with so I can also blow people out of the water. I'm that player. I'll go on the internet and I'll be like, who does really well?
Instead of deck building or drafting, you're the one that's just Googling under the table.
Really well. I mean, I'll pick the characters that I really like playing with, but I'll pick the best of those characters that I like.
That's fair.
Because it just makes things so much stronger. And I think that you're going to see a lot of characters coming out of here that you're like, all right, these are going to be the top characters to play. And then that's when
Yeah.
we'll get new characters and I'll change things up.
I think that's how it'll be. In this first tournament, we'll probably see some characters that come out, like you said, that are taking an outstanding lead. Most teams are built with them to some degree or have a good balance and response. But I think that's when you have an opportunity to see some other strategies kind of open up.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Like, oh my goodness, this has been crazy already. So I'm trying to see how many tables they have up. They have quite a few tables, and then we're gonna do 3 different rounds of brackets. So there's gonna be like this where we're getting everybody together, then there's gonna be like semifinals, and then there's gonna be finals brackets. So make sure if you all out there are new to any channels or anything like that, that you all like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure to ring the bell and everything so that you can get notified whenever Mythic Games goes live. Because you'll want to stay tuned for what's happening with all of those competitions and everything. So make sure to go ahead and do that, because this is not a one-off event. This is three weekends worth of events, okay? Ooh, we have information coming in here. Chini was using Maruz, Gwaine, and Wrath. Ooh, okay. I like all those characters. Okay, I like all those characters.
I've got them right here. Maruz, Gwaine, and Wrath. I'll go ahead and hold up these cards so we can see.
Maruz is really good and does extra damage when bloodied. Wrath can pop around because that's your rogue character. So he can like tunnel and then pop up and like claw people. Yeah, Wrath.
And then Gwaine is going to be the character that I said is probably my favorite to play with at the moment. She's going to have a lot of long range and quick movement. So we're seeing a pattern here with Maruz, Wrath, and Gwaine. All of them have a significant amount of movement, it sounds like.
Yes. No,
so
definitely.
This is going to be a low hit point, no shield team with a ton of gameplay when it comes to the board state itself.
And those are actually 2 really heavy hitters, I know for sure. I know that Gwaine and Maruz are both 2 people that go in there and they just go in like guns blazing. You know, Gwaine has those spells, you know, and like with this, they're heavy hitting spells, and you can do it at a distance. And then Maruz can go in there and is a heavy hitter at a very short distance. So that's a good combination right there.
Oh, definitely.
I'm really intrigued with the fact that there's no high hit point bruiser in this team.
Yeah, no, they're all 7s or 6s, which, you know, some of the other characters are 8s or 9s and might have shields.
It becomes one of those things, though. If you can go in there and you can burn somebody down and get them out of your area and control them as fast as possible, it's not necessarily about having to stay there a long time. It's just about getting in and getting it done real fast.
It's what we were mentioning at the very beginning of this stream, where I was curious if we were going to see some strategies that were less about controlling territory and more about positioning and moving around the board. And it seems like that's paying off. I'm wondering if the second one that had a 5-0 also had a lightweight quick team, because that could be a cool strategy. There's a massive jump ability here.
Oh, yes. No, that's a good lineup. It's like, I'm going to start writing these lineups down. Start writing the lineups down, everybody.
all the 5-0 teams. We're just going to be keeping score of those. That's
right. I want to know what all the 5-0 teams are playing.
So Table 8 was a 5-3 win using Goldar, DrGloryHogg, and Lorelei, which that's a really good team also, because DrGloryHogg can do a lot of different things too. Like, you can do like that shield bash, and you can use his reaction to hold ground so you can't be moved.
Sure.
There's a lot of different options.
So is that one then more like a control-based one? I
think so. DrGloryHogg's going to be holding his position.
People too.
Goldar again, not going to be very quick at moving, but he's really going to stick to his ground and pull people in to get close to him. He kind of wants to be in your face.
Yeah, and then with Lorelei, she's the one that has like the healing rain and grasping vines and clairvoyance, so she can do all the planning and move people to the ground. That
team there sounds like it's way more intricate. With instead of like the team that we just saw, that's more like hit and run. This one's like no. We have to have all these characters working together with lots of synergy. So that's really interesting seeing that come into light with the 2 different strategies on those, and 2 different really great winning strategies. Apparently, you know.
Well, and you can just look at their abilities when you upgrade it. Gives you a little bit of insight into what they're really designed to do. Goldar, for instance, the Scourge of the Several Seas. After you've got him, upgraded by taking out an opponent, he becomes immune to push. And then DrGloryHogg over here, adjacent opponents cannot attack unless DrGloryHogg is a target of the attack. So both of these are holding their position, and they want people in and close to them.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
And then if she's sitting there healing them and helping plan out to make sure you always have like one of those reactions that can like hold your ground or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that locking it down.
It becomes,
like, you can't move them.
Yeah, it becomes a huge nuisance then because you keep on trying to like whittle somebody away, and it can become so focusing where you're whittling and whittling that even other things on the board can be happening, and you could be scoring other trophies if somebody gets focused on that and you're just supporting that one character and they're trying to get them out of one area or something, you know?
Now, with a competitive draft, as you're seeing your opponent start pulling some of these characters, what are you all thinking in terms of countering either this quick team that we saw early on with that 5-0 or this heavy hitter team? What are some of the things that
I think they're actually a good matchup because if somebody's doing a team where they're trying to hold still, then I'm just going to try to go in and do as much damage to them as I can. So they can stand there all they want because I'm just going to kill them to move them because you can't push them.
Absolutely. And I like Fatal Paper Cut's line here. I guess you could say you need to know when to hold them, when to fold them, or possibly even to walk away. And I think that's super important in this particular game as a whole. You know,
you know that's a song, right?
I know, but I'm saying, I'm just saying it's good.
I mean, Derek, also, if it's a song, can you prove it's a song?
I was hoping you gotta know when to hold them. Know when to hold them. So good. And just my dog's over here like, oh, he's loving it. So good.
No, I'm just saying that it rings very true to this game as well, because if you're battling over one area and then like it's just not working out for you because somebody keeps healing or something, get the heck out of there. Go do something else. Go attack something else and get your trophies another way.
Because I'm pretty sure our viewers could give you a lyric line and you just wouldn't know that it's from a song. And
How dare you?
That was really insightful, what he just said there. So I thought she really didn't know. I thought maybe because she likes music, but she doesn't really listen to the lyrics. So I thought
I listen to the music and not the lyrics. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So I'm like, man, does she not know that that's a song? Because this is amazing. If she doesn't know, she just thinks Fatal Paper Cut's just being
that's a song though that the lyrics are easy to hear. It's whenever you get into things like Nirvana and stuff. It's like you just listen to the music and not the lyrics.
Well, and you're like, I know he's saying something, but I don't know what Maynard's saying.
Though.
I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds beautiful.
Hope is that the players here, they're in the room where it matters, and I really do hope they're not going to throw away their shot. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Mom's spaghetti, you got to get ready.
Oh, gosh. It's just dust in the wind, okay?
That is so insightful.
It's important to not fear the Reaper. And
here, don't go chasing waterfall town. Just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. You know what? That's very insightful. Yeah. You know what, Fatal? I appreciate you bringing all of this knowledge and just like this elder knowledge to us.
Well, I would call that
stream.
team a
Thank
scrub,
you so much.
and I ain't got no time for no scrubs sitting in the passenger side of their best friend's ride trying to holler at me. I just don't have time for that.
I can understand that.
I literally don't have time for scrubs.
See, I want to pull references to the music I listen to, but it's all just like earthy bluegrass with like 10,000 hits on each video. Y'all wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
It's that country music. It's because you're from Kentucky, right?
I'm bluegrass. I'm heart and soul Kentucky, man.
Okay. I lived in Kentucky for a little while, for about 4 years.
We'll drink bourbon together.
But I don't know if that really counts because I was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So like I was there.
I can't say if you like necessarily were there because you didn't spend most of your time in Kentucky. I spent most of my time in Kentucky.
That's true. You probably spent more time there than I did. Because I got deployed a bunch, but yeah, I was adjacent.
Alice Sidero. So where we're seeing games is you go over to Tabletopia, and if you go to Mythic Games, they have a championship.
Super Fantasy Brawl.
Right. Sorry, Super Fantasy Brawl. You're correct. They actually have a championship sort of page here. Do you want to scroll up to the top so they can kind of see what the page looks like? Oh, it's okay. Yeah. They have a championship page here where you can scroll down. You can see where the games are going to be at, and you can actually drop in on these games and you can
watch.
Yeah, watch them.
Like it says tournament edition underneath it. And I'm not sure where people are seeing these other games because I'm only seeing the one that just finished up here that we just watched. That's the only game in progress I see.
We've had 3 games so far wrap up with some pretty significant victories, and I know there's going to be more cycling through. So.
Absolutely. It should be an event for until noon, I think that they were saying as far as that goes. And these rounds are Swiss rounds. So you're getting points based on wins, losses, and draws in this. And the rounds are set at an hour each, I believe, on this. So it's Like, it's the primo way to do it. I love Swiss rounds.
So everybody
gets points.
Somebody else just won with Kilgore, Nevermore, and Lorelei. So there's a lot of variety in these teams. Like sometimes when you get into these types of things, like in a Magic tournament or something like that, you see the same teams battling each other over and over and over again. And you're like, oh, these are basically the exact same decks or the exact same team layout, and they're just fighting each other. And whoever gets the better card pools or maneuvers a slightly better is going to win. But all these teams have been different.
So Kilgore and then the two, Nevermore and Lorelei are both from the expansion, right? They're not from that core set.
Kilgore.
Lorelei is from the nature one.
Yeah. And
so
Nevermore, I'm not seeing it on my table here. I might be overlooking it.
I think Nevermore is from the expansion also.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so two expansion characters, and then we've got Kilgore here as well. How's this team going to operate? Let's look through these decks a little bit and try to figure out what they're doing.
I really like playing with Nevermore a lot because that is the character that has swoop in there, where I said that you can actually go through 4 different squares there. So if you line it up correctly and you have your competitor who has multiple characters, they're all clumped together, you can actually hit multiple characters going through. Not only can you damage them, but you can also fear them, which puts them out of position, especially if they are grouping in, around one of the statues and everything there. So I really like Nevermore, and he's a support character where you actually have like a teleport where you can get one of the other characters that comes over to them and then he buffs them. So using Nevermore in a group is super fantastic. I totally recommend doing it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of maneuverability with all of your characters because of him.
So are there more people? Are there other people that are able to see more games because they're a VIP on Tabletopia?
Ooh.
Is that what somebody's saying?
Maybe. Okay, let's hear.
Well, you all check out that. And I just want to say that Nevermore is an interesting pairing with Kilgore, because Kilgore specifically is going to be focused on, like the namesake says, kind of taking out your enemy. With abilities that reward based on life steal. So as you're hitting people, you're going to be able to absorb some of their life, and a lot of in-your-face attack, push, and position. Pretty strong pairing, because Nevermore being a support character there, giving and putting Kilgore in a position to take down some folks. I'm wondering if that's how some of those victories happened. I'd like to see a victory that happens during this tournament where basically all 5 trophies were predominantly won just from wiping out an entire team. That'd be an interesting strategy.
To see.
I don't think it happens very often, but it would be an interesting thing to see.
That would be really fantastic to see. I'm going to try logging in a little differently, so hopefully we can see more tables on here.
So you think it could be that premium service?
It might be.
Gives you access to a few extras.
But we're streaming this from my computer, and so I'm not actually logged in. So we're going to try to log in as her and see if that makes a difference.
Cool.
Because typically we play everything off the main one. Okay, so now we're logged in. What's over there? I'm still just seeing the one game in progress.
I'll double check if I have the status on it there. If I need to, oh, here we go, right there.
Go premium.
All right. May need to update here for a second. You go ahead and do your thing, Doctor. All right. And what else do we have out here?
Don't worry. I have a duck. It's called the distraction duck. I'll hold down the fort for 60 seconds.
Well, there you go. You and your duck. Just take this over, Jesse. You got this.
You and awe this adorable duck for it. Only lasts for 60 seconds, but I've got it. Trust me. This will hold down. This will keep the audience's attention. It'll hold down the fort.
Where did you get this duck from? Isn't this not even like your place?
Like... Oh no! You don't understand. So I am here at Sarah Shaw's house with Jan. We're up in Ithaca, New York, and this duck came with me to be left on set here. I can't have her doing her 1-minute board game videos without a few ducks in the background.
That was really nice.
And when she visited us in Washington D.C., we sent her home with this duck. So now she has the full collection.
So now she has the full collection of ducks. That's very nice. So whenever she needs her quack.
You got to do what you got to do. These are endangered resources, and they bring a smile to people's face. This one specifically, just a little bit hunchback, if you notice. He's a little squat. I think it makes him cute.
You know, I actually used to collect little rubber ducks, except it was always the ones with like ridiculous hats on and stuff, and like they always had to be very unique, you know? You had like Christmas ducks, Halloween ducks with like little ghost hoods on and stuff, and like little like scary faces and stuff. Like it was super cute, but you know.
So Luke just popped in saying, "Hey, I just got here. How are y'all doing today? GloryHoundd, how you doing?"
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I had to get up early though, and that was not pleasing for me. I don't get up early anymore, especially with everything going on. Everybody's like in their house and stuff all the time. Like there's no need to actually get up early at all. So
I don't get up at all. I just stay up through the night, and then I never have to get up early. I'm just up.
Makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense now.
So how do you think I get everything done? It's a lack of sleep and a high amount of bourbon.
All right, let's see here. We have Game and Tech Corner. Yeah, first round done. Will be a little while until round 2 on their game.
I think we should be swinging into them pretty close. We're figuring out how to see some of the tournament seats that we haven't been able to see earlier this morning. It seems like there might be we might need a premium edition with Tabletopia to see a ton of different seats. So if anything, I mean, I'm very charming. So stay tuned.
At Game and Tech Corner, I got there round 1 with Maruz paired with Kilgore and DrGloryHogg. So let me take a look at them.
Round 1, Maruz paired with Kilgore and DrGloryHogg.
Okay, yeah, there's Maruz.
Kay Smith, if you're able to tell us what was your thought behind this, what was your thought behind this team? What were you trying to do, and did it work?
That's an interesting combination
Kilgore,
here. So
like
looking
we
at
said,
now.
I consider him sort of a bruiser. I think he wants to get in people's face. I think he wants to take down opponents. DrGloryHogg is going to be we saw that on the other team that was more about holding ground, tactical positioning, and just not leaving your spot. And then what was that last one? The last one was
Kilgore, DrGloryHogg, and Maruz, which
Maruz
is
got knocked
my
out
man.
early, but bounced back with getting him leveled up.
Yeah.
1-5-2. Maruz is speedy. Is that right, GloryHoundd?
Yes, Maruz. And Maruz, I feel like, is going to get knocked out. Maruz frequently gets knocked out, but put back in, but is able to get back into that fight over and over again. When Maruz gets bloodied, like things get dangerous. He just gets stronger. And that's why he gets knocked out so often, because you want to get Maruz bloodied.
Sure.
And then you want to be able to use their abilities to the fullest potential. And then like, oh, okay, he died, goes back, and then just bring him back. And like with me, whenever I have Maruz, I combine them with Nevermore, so then I can also get him back faster because of that. So really good synergy with other characters.
And Kay Smith mentioned the thing that changed it was getting Maruz up to level 2, which, like you were saying, GloryHoundd, is going to be a big deal because Maruz here, once you're able to take out another character with him, if you're able to utilize that bloodied ability, Maruz attack gains lifesteal while Maruz is bloodied. So you flip that card over, and you just start cycling back and forth between doing damage, getting hit, doing damage, getting hit.
Absolutely,
it's pretty powerful. This is a pretty powerful combination. This is a pretty aggressive combination.
It is, and that's the sort of combination that I'm always excited about. Is those get in there, kill what you got to kill, or get in there and get what you need to get, and then get out.
My assumption is going to be that Kilgore. Dungrun just played defense, right? But Kilgore probably did a little bit of damage to set up for Maruz getting his bloodied ability and flipping over to level 2. I don't assume Maruz was able to do all of the damage necessary early on. I'd assume that this was kind of a team effort in order to get him flipped. But strategically, it's a really smart plan. Get someone wounded, get them weak and vulnerable, and then activate Maruz's special ability.
Absolutely. And Maruz also has some lifesteal cards in there as well. So you can really set them up to just be on that border there of being bloodied and then continually carrying out really great attacks and stuff.
With only 7 health, the border there of being bloodied is only 3 damage away from death.
Very thin. It's very thin.
You have no shield. So I also wonder if DrGloryHogg was played because of his the amount of this card right here. I bet that card right there had to come into play.
Hold ground is really big.
Exactly. This is going to allow you to negate any displacement effect caused by the attack. So just keep position. Don't let Maruz get into a vulnerable position. Don't let him get pulled forward like if you're playing against Goldar or something. I don't know. I'm interested. I would like to see that. I would like to see that gameplay.
I know, right? So we have Phantom of Truth that says, Chairman says hi. Hello.
Charmaine says hi.
Oh, Chairman.
Hola.
Charmaine says hi.
Charmaine.
It says Chairman. Oh, no, wait. I mixed up the hi.
Whatever the case, a solid quack back to you.
Hello.
Jeez. Yeah, so I don't know if Battlecry just like tricked me into buying the premium edition of this, but I did, and I don't see any new games. So, joke's on me. You just made me spend $10.
Do you think that'll help?
How dare you?
No, I bought the premium, but
don't worry. I'll swing in. I'll purchase the premium as well. We'll just see if that also helps. Battlecry, can you let us know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Battlecry's just like, everybody buy the premium.
Just get all of the premium, and then Tabletopia will be really, really happy.
So I have a text comment coming in from my Discord. I didn't expect this, but Hecking said at Quackalope, I commented on the Fantasy Brawl video, but the yellow hoodie you're wearing is so cool. I really like it. I'm doing that for my own vanity because I just got this hoodie yesterday, and I legitimately want to order a second one. This is it's made by an artist called 1000, who's another YouTube content creator. And I am thrilled that I look like a rubber duck right now. You have no idea.
What's a YouTube?
You just well, we're on the YouTube right now, so.
GloryHogg, I've got a lot to teach you, my friend.
So this is live, is what you're saying?
No.
Gotcha.
No. We told you at the very beginning that this was going to be completely private. It's just for us.
Okay, cool. Because I was a little worried there for a minute.
Oh, let's see here. In fact, Sheeny played Corvash, Sue, and Goldar as well on that.
So a lot of Goldar. Seems like
a lot of Goldar. I haven't played with Goldar yet, so that is one of the characters that I believe. Have you played with Goldar? I thought you had.
No, Goldar isn't one I played with because he looked like he was going to be a smelly pirate.
All right.
So
first off, what is wrong with smelly pirates? Second off, let's cycle through just a few of his cards here so we can show. I like showing off the artwork, but you're going to notice once we get to it, you're going to notice one of those cards that is focused. There's your pool ability right here. Yeah, so you're able to move forward, throw out your harpoon, hook someone, and pull them forward. We've got a draw one ability that's going to give you a little bit of a buff. We have set sail, which is going to give you a significant amount of dash, and you're going to be able to deal a lot of damage based on how many enemies you're able to move through. So that's some fast movement there. And then Anchors Ahoy, if you're able to position this one right, it can do a lot of damage to multiple characters at once. So I usually try to set up something like Anchors Ahoy with another character who gives me a damage buff on the very next attack. Because if you can position that, then this becomes an even more deadly attack.
And hello to Nemesis Games. Thank you so much.
Uprising, Curse of the Last
Nemesis Games.
Or Curse of the Last Empire.
Now I'm nervous.
So Battlecry was just making fun of me. So good call. Thank you, Battlecry. You cost me $10 a month. He's like, I don't know.
Not being cool enough to hang out with the big kids. Wow, Battlecry. Wow.
I thought maybe by not being premium, we were missing out on some of the games that would be posted on here. You're missing out on all the things,
and no, apparently not. Apparently not.
So I don't know. Are some people watching it on Discord or something?
Some of them must be equipped and playing, but not quite linked into this main hub. When it comes to like tournaments happening that aren't directly in that Tabletopia hub, that's my assumption.
I feel like maybe somebody's playing. They're playing. Some of these teams are playing on like Discord instead or something.
Oh, gotcha.
Or something.
Where you can see them more on Discord and stuff.
Because currently there's no games going right now for Super Fantasy Brawl.
Well, victories are coming in. So whether or not there are games happening. It's just the streamers here have to be charming and entertaining.
I'll leave then.
No, Doctor, you're sometimes charming and entertaining. Okay,
have a trophy.
Ta-da!
A tiny trophy. We should have just got out our own board and just started casually playing. Be like,
no. Let's see here. If we can go ahead and so we're not seeing any of the newer games coming up. Oh man.
There's not any listed, right? Oh, here we go. Created just now. So there's two of them that have been created just now.
That are going to be coming up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So once they actually load in another person, we'll jump in.
I want to keep an eye out to see if we see some pairings that we've seen utilized already moving into these next rounds and determine if we can see who we think might have the advantage just based off of the feedback we've seen so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the same people on that there that are coming up for their second rounds on that because they are doing at least 2 to 3 rounds on those.
Jan, my co-host, is being camera shy at the moment.
Is he?
He's in. He's handsome. He's charming. He's Puerto Rican, and yet he won't come on stream.
It seems like a first. Usually he's all over that screen.
He loves being on camera. He complains all the time when he doesn't get to share the spotlight with me. He's embarrassed because of how bad I destroyed him at that game I was telling you all about a little bit earlier. Here's what we did. Let me tell you this, GloryHoundd. I think you'll enjoy this.
Okay.
I taught him the game. We did a run through. We did a test run, and then we sat down to play. I beat him. He threw a fit. I reset the game. The same game. I rewound it by a turn or two.
Exact same thing.
I beat him again. We reset again because he was still grumpy about what had happened. I beat him 3 times in one game. I think that I think that gives me the ultimate championship.
And you're just going to call him out on the internet like that?
Listen, he's sitting right next to me.
That feels bad.
He's sitting right next to me. I figure this is the perfect moment to do so. If he wasn't
so much burn. That's
right here.
I'm just saying, if DrGloryHogg did that to me, that would end with some fog of divorce right there. Okay, we called out that hard on the internet.
Dan and I are still working on the fog of love portion. We'll get to that other. We'll get to that other cycle sooner or later.
Watch out for that first IKEA trip. That one is killer.
Ooh, yeah.
I cannot wait. We're gonna hold hands the whole way through the building.
It looks like they're starting to do their pairings for round 2 and everything, but they're not quite up yet. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to try to say all these names backwards. So instead of Cole, it's going to be No,
not at all.
So some decks that we haven't seen utilized yet.
Some characters we haven't seen.
Yeah, we have not seen Akhet.
I was thinking about that too.
It's going to be the Light of Creation. What do you think's going on there? Why are we not pulling Akhet down onto the board?
You would think he would have a spot though, with like having the 1 shield, right, and then having 8. That's a pretty good starting place to be at.
Seems like a good starting place. It's also a bird, which I'm always partial to.
Are you partial to birds?
Slightly. I'm not quite sure. A lot of movement here with Akhet. A lot of positioning. I just don't know if it's working into the strategy. We've seen a lot of bruisers and support characters, but Akhet is going to be a lot more around moving across the board, right? Am I accurate about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely where it's going to be the strong point. But we haven't seen Darren either, which is like all about using traps. So, which is surprising because there's going to be 4 traps out on the board. And if you use them correctly and you get bonuses for them, then I don't see why you wouldn't want to use that character.
So, Mark, we were doing it on Tabletopia on there for this one. This one's being ran on Tabletopia, I believe. And I don't know why Akhet's not being utilized either because their ability on the back of their card is so powerful too, where you can just basically discard those red cards in your hand and you're just getting pluses to your attack power on there. Like, I feel like that would be huge to try to go ahead and get them turned over, leveled up, and then be able to use that in like some really big hits.
I think for me, it'd be a similar strategy to the one that we saw Maruz used with, where you position, you get into a place where you can flip Maruz over. I think Akhet maybe has to be the cornerstone of the team you're building. And if you didn't build around flipping, like you're pointing out, GloryHoundd, maybe you go with some other characters first.
Maybe. Even so, like they have a pretty high health and 1 shield, so that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit them and kind of work out what's going on with that.
Yep, absolutely. I'm getting more and more of these.
They're setting up their teams right now. So we've got Wayne and Suzhou. Is that how you say that?
Yeah. So
we haven't seen them either.
Like we've said, ranged, able to move around the board with her teleport ability, and Suzhou always approached as a little bit of a bruiser. Like you kind of want to fight with him, but like we've all pointed out, he seems to go down quick because you put him in vulnerable positions and he doesn't have that shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but he's got the 9 hit points. This is kind of definitely the big advantage there. But there's some pull. So it seems like pull is really important in this tournament.
Putting him in vulnerable positions might be really key, though, because I know that his special ability as well is negating those shields. So I mean, sometimes you have to set some people up as some cannon fodder. You are playing a 3-person team on there.
Sure.
And some of those people may need to be just like the distraction.
If you were building this deck right now, who would you be pulling into this mix? Who's going to pair? Oh, we have Colel.
Against Zuzao, I would actually be trying to bring in somebody like Maruz, because one of the things that Zuzao can do is make people bloodied. And so if you're playing a character that wants to be bloodied, it seems like that's a good counter to that.
What do we think about this team? We've got Gwen, Tuzao, and Colel, which 2 core support characters, and then like you said, Tuzao might be one of those that you're using as a bruiser, might be one of those that you're using just to kind of be vulnerable.
Yeah, like some cannon fodder.
I think they're going to really lean really heavily on Gwen. I think that's probably where most of their damage is going to be, and they're going to use a lot of Colel's like moving around and using those special lizard licks to kind of get stuff done.
The special lizard licks? Is that what it is?
I could see a really interesting Gwen Tuzao combination that now that you're pointing that out, because Gwen can do some significant damage as long as she's not being pulled into the fray.
Yes.
Oh, yes. A ton.
What's our other team looking like over here? Let's see what they're matching up against. I'm worried about a bruising team. People that don't need to move, that just need to hold their position. Another Tuzao, okay. And then
we've gone from none to now they both have one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this one here, they're definitely putting Suzao like up front, and then they're going to use Sulka and Nevermore as those support characters, just kind of working their magic in the shadows.
I think strategically,
has all that movement.
I think the strategy is going to be very similar for both of these players, where Suzao is really up front, like you said, being the block, and the support characters are the ones that you're going to be really leaning on to not only secure territory, but also just secure kind of damage and positioning on the board. We'll probably see a lot of other player manipulation in this game.
Definitely.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
What's our first trophies that are coming out to kind of see what they're shooting for right out of the bat? It's kind of nice to see them put their teams to actually together.
I like starting right here because we can get a sense and we can talk about where I might go with this.
Right.
So this is tough. So the first one, they want to have 2 leveled up champions. So that means they got to go in there right away and just kill 2 players, which isn't going to happen that first turn.
I would immediately not start planning, especially with the teams we have built here. I would ignore that card. I would start prepping for the cards that I'm pretty sure are going to come out later on in this deck.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then since I'm imagining both players are probably looking at that first card and going, that's probably not super possible this early in the game.
Right. We've already got people that are kind of been hit a couple times. You're like, can I knock out one more person and level up? But
there's going to be a huge, huge rush to one side of the board to get this one portion of this one challenge done right here.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that's handled, because
I might, knowing that there's going to be more territory control zones come out, I might send one character towards yellow, just keep the other player from scoring it, and then maybe deploy in position closer to red and blue, just ready and waiting for whatever is going to be cycling next.
But you can always sit in the, sit on the corner of red and still damage people that are in yellow most of the time. So it's always a good idea to be close.
That's
just to do a little sidestep.
That's going to be a really good option for this grouping right here, which I'm guessing is Kadir, I think. I think this is Kadir's side here, because these 2 here, Sulka and Nevermore, are support characters that stay outside. So leaving them in maybe those red and blue areas and then moving them in and out would be a great strategy for Kadir right now. So I'm interested to see how that plays forward. Let's see the other characters over here. And then as far as this goes, leaving Gwen on this outskirts and then, having just one character in there, I can see that. I can see that going and setting yourself up for other rounds as you go along.
Collet is actually really good. Like I said, it has a lot of movement. So you can do jumps and pulls and stuff like that. And I think you could really get yourself in a good position, like last minute where you don't expect it. And the very last thing they do on their turn is just move into an area and take control. And then you've got to move them out. You put all the onus on your opponent. Be like, you got to figure out something to do to get rid of me.
All right.
We got poison too.
Carbo here is Remy. So we have Kadir, who is Petrick, and Carbo as Remy playing here.
I'm totally gonna open up and eat a little bit of the leftover Thanksgiving dinner, by the way, because we're hitting midday, and I drove all night. So.
It's a long day. I totally understand.
Does have that.
It's not a long day. It is literally me not prepping enough and forgetting that I'd never eat breakfast. So I'm sitting here going, a little bit of Thanksgiving wouldn't be bad.
A little bit of Thanksgiving right now, so you can just tease everybody at home. You're like, I'm eating delicious things.
Listen, Jan brought it for me. I was alone on Thanksgiving. Wasn't able to go see my grandparents this year, but I did get to call them on a live stream, which was a lot of fun. But Jan surprised me when I picked him up this morning with some turkeys. So that's been very cool.
Oh, that was so nice.
You weren't exactly alone. You had all of Quackalope behind you.
Well, it's also
we
true.
We did throw a mini convention.
Yeah, that was a really busy day.
And we look at the trap setup here. It's all on the one side of the board. They're like, nope, we want it to be as difficult as possible getting over here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that whole board on this side is just leaning.
Like you said, a rush to yellow, securing that zone right off the bat. You think they're going to double down, just thinking that yellow and red might be where they're going to lean into their strategy?
I don't know.
I think they have to.
That other team's kind of doing what I said I would do, though, leaving 2 characters back and sticking a heavy hitter up front.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised actually that this team right here is going heavy on one side because 2 of these characters are so maneuverable. But maybe they were thinking they would get Nevermore in here for a super fast like pick up and win. Like they couldn't get. Like the other player won't get enough of their characters over there in time.
An early victory point honestly, in this game, an early victory point could be the difference.
But what they do have Gawain there prepped just on the outskirts, like ready to like throw some fire in there. So that's going to be interesting to see that play out. You got all the writing down on here?
Yeah, I'm just like writing down the team so it's easier for me to track.
Okay.
And then this team right here with Nevermore and Solka, that is for Kaldar?
Yep, that's right. That is Petrick. And Petrick has such an interesting long last name. I'm never going to be able to say it. It's Desmonoix.
But you will keep attempting it, and that's what's important.
It is fantastical, though, I'm sure. It's said in person. It probably has like a nice ring to it, you know? Oh, okay. There you go, Jesse. So yeah, so they are. They're splitting. They're splitting.
I'm a little surprised. I do not like having Gawain anywhere near where I'm afraid someone's going to touch her.
I would agree with you for the most part, but early game like this, she's dangerous if people get too close to her. And the odds of them pushing past yellow, right now, they just want to secure yellow for that early victory point. So I don't know if she's in much danger.
Are you saying that Gawain is semi like a cat where it's like, oh, don't touch me. I'm just sitting here. You can't touch me.
Just a soft ball of fur with razor sharp claws.
That's right.
A soft ball of fur with razor sharp claws. Jan, I feel like I've said that to you before. He's right next to me. I figure I'll include him in the commentary.
That's right.
When he's hosting next week, I'm sure he'll take a few shots in my direction as well.
Well, yeah, and then we'll get to hear the whole other side of everything and how mean you were and that you just trounced him on those games one after another just to be a jerk.
He's going to tell us that you forgot to tell him the rules about like how to get trophies and stuff.
I'm sure he will. Don't listen to him. Look, Quackalope is going to be doing a full representation here with both of us hosting these streams together. I'm excited about it.
Oh, look at that. I thought that they were going to move the other player into that blue territory just in case. Do we have any more goals out? I want to see these here. Apologies on my maneuverability here.
Yeah, have you ever maneuvered before?
Apparently I have not maneuvered.
2 or more champions in a trap hex.
Okay, so that's why I was like, why are they going for those traps? But now that makes sense because I was seeing characters starting to land on traps.
Yeah,
2 or more characters.
It looked like there was an early, like, trying to predict what one of those cards might be when they moved into blue there, and I just don't think it paid off.
Well, right away, did they get that one for the yellow? They did right away for the one.
Gave it to them, and I think I honestly think giving a victory point up that early on in the game could be a sign of a loss. I'm not sure. It's definitely not a surefire thing, but I think that was probably. They were hoping that strategy would pay off, and I don't think it has. And so I think they're on their heels now.
Yeah, they got to find a way to definitely make up for that lost point. Because even then scoring 2, it's just going to get them up ahead 1.
5 points is not a lot of points. So, you really do have to count every single tiny little detail of what you're doing whenever you're going through this. Like, I mean, one trophy is a win or loss in that. So, I mean, oh my goodness.
They're definitely doing some movement there. Bringing their Jade Claw right up into the mix.
I want to see if anybody's gotten damage. Okay, so damage-wise, what do we got here?
Yeah, there's damage on those
Some ranged hits, just like we were saying. Gwen up front there was able to get some peppered hits on the other team.
Yeah. All right, we got a couple damage here on Suzhou, but that's not too bad because he's got 9 health on there. That's not a problem at all.
And Gwen still has not been hit. Like I was saying, she was a little bit vulnerable, but she was able to get some strikes in, and no one was going after her to start because they wanted that victory point.
Gwen is such a powerful character like that.
On Tuso, though.
Oh, this is not looking good here for Kadir. Yeah, because
one of those Jade Cats is going down. For sure.
Having all that damage there on Suzhou on this side is not going to be good at all.
You got yourself a classic Highlander situation here.
There can only be one Suzhou.
But it is what from the beginning what we were kind of thinking. Suzhou up front taking a lot of that early damage, but protecting some of the support characters.
You know what though? That line doesn't have the same sort of feeling as it does in person whenever you take out Suzhou and you're like, there can only be one. Yeah. What an epic line for mid-tournament like that. You're like, you jerk. Oh my goodness.
So,
all right, what sort of other cards we have?
Is now just redrawing their hand.
So I'm looking at the new one coming out here. Have 3 champions adjacent to the same statue. Wow, they have some really interesting cards coming out.
Positioning and strategic movement as opposed to just controlling zones.
Yeah.
I like this card a lot whenever this comes out in a game from me because it opens the door for securing not only some interesting positionings, but also any of my characters are now eligible to try to score that.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be interesting.
Because it's any statue, so you just got to get all 3 of them piled in there.
Yeah. By one statue, yeah. That's not too bad. That trap one, though, is dangerous because if you land on the wrong traps, that's just going to hurt you. I mean, it hurts you overall, but like it becomes. Is it worth one? Is it worth one little?
There's always a risk,
or 2, or like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
my opinion is that trap card right there. That is going to be worth 2. That's one that you save till it's worth a little bit more, and then you take the risk to try to secure it.
You need to, because it's not worth it damaging your character, having the risk of damaging your character.
Well, think about it.
One trophy.
You could be giving up a trophy due to that damage alongside earning one. So a 1 for 2 trade is going to be worthwhile. But if you're just doing a 1 for 1, you're at the same position you were at the beginning.
That's a dangerous little one to do there. I don't know if I would be that risky.
You just don't know what's in those traps.
Yeah.
I'd just be sitting and waiting outside those traps and being like, yes, hit the traps now. Ooh,
that's really moving that character.
Yeah, they are.
There we go. Right between both those traps there. Which makes them in line of sight of a lot of different attacks.
I feel like as you're putting the traps down, you always have to sing the trap song upon any traps going down. You gotta go traps, 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 traps.
I was wondering where you were going with that, and I was pleasantly surprised.
She knows one song, and that's it.
Successful Geek. Woohoo! GloryHoundd bringing some awesome credibility to this tournament, despite the Quackalope being involved.
Thank you, listen, Successful Geek.
I am not going to argue against a geek who is both a geek and successful at the same time. That is a
Which I've only been one of those things.
The only one of those things?
Successful.
As far as I'm concerned, I've never been either.
There you go.
I'm a sham. I'm a sham at this hobby, and I'm also unsuccessful at doing so.
Oh.
You don't even play games, though, do you?
As far as my community is concerned, no, I've never played a game.
Never ever.
Have you ever played Kingdom Death Monster? That's a pretty good one. You should check it out.
Not correctly, apparently. I posted a video for the Patreon, and the list of analysis that was done by one of my Patreon members, both thoroughly appreciated. But dear God, I don't know my favorite game.
So the way I always explain it when we're playing games is I very much tell people it's a do you want to play? Because just like anybody else, if you're at somebody's house, you're playing a game, you're going to mess up stuff. You're going to accidentally house rule things, or everyone's going to have a different interpretation of something. You just have to make a decision and play the game. The idea is to have fun, just like you would at somebody's house. I'm not going to sit with the rule book at someone's house and be like, according to subparagraph 3.2, you're wrong. That's just not how I play.
For fun. I play for honor and credibility.
Oh, okay.
That's what this whole tournament's about, right? Bragging.
That's weird. I play to win, so.
Well, I play tournaments to win.
Oh, yeah, I see what it is, GloryHoundd. You win often enough that GloryHogg has to be having fun. If he wasn't, there's just no motivation to play the game.
Oh, so much burn. So much burn, it hurts.
I immediately go to BG Stats and start pulling up
I can feel it over here. I can feel the burn over here.
He's going to start defending his honor here soon.
Getting hot.
It's getting bad. It is interesting, though, when you play with the same person all the time, you find that there are certain games that they are really good at. And you're like, man, I'm not playing any, like area control. She beats me down in area control all the time. This one, for some reason, I can usually do okay because at least there's some cards to help mitigate.
There's some good reactiveness in this game, which I'm not as good with. I'm good at long-term planning, and that works really well in area control. But this one has so much more reactiveness to it because of reaction cards and stuff like that, and then the different trophies that you can get along the way and that you're trying to go for that come out at different times and stuff. So yeah, it kind of messes up my whole area control thing that I do sometimes. So
see, this is the sweet spot for me. I want a game that gives me toys to play with, like not a hardcore strategy, not a ton of planning ahead. And for me, drawing up those 5 cards and immediately reacting to not only the puzzle that's on the board, Mythic Games, seriously? Well, all right.
Burns all around.
I was saying something informative, but I'm just going to end the conversation there. Thank you so much for having me, Mythic Games. I'm going to return to my Thanksgiving dinner. Thank you.
I'm taking my pie and I'm going home.
So many burns all around on that.
Wow.
So
oh my goodness.
So once again, we see another team that has a lot of damage on us. They just took some damage over there.
Yeah, their damage is piling up over
that's
here.
Sort of what I would expect. I mean, that's sort of what I would expect with Gwen over there on the other side. She's able to do this. This is why we were saying she's so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that. 7.
But I do believe we have a 1-to-1 trophy on this, right?
We do right now.
Is that what I'm seeing right now?
What are these new cards that have come out? What are they trying to do at the moment? I see a blue control.
Okay, let's take a look here.
Yeah, so there's a new blue control one. No one's going for that leveled up champions, which they might now that everyone's all beat up.
Could be. Could be focusing on some damage.
Maybe I didn't take a quick look and see. Yeah,
if you're able to kill if you're able to kill 2 killer characters, get this trophy plus the 2 kills. That's 3 trophies. Yeah, you're pretty much just 1.
I'm surprised. So now that this trap one has come into the double trophy zone here, that's going to be a good one to get. But with some of us,
but the Solka team,
I was going to say, with some of them, being too hurt, that's actually really, really bad. Like that puts them out of the running for those trophies on that, you know?
They can't really risk it. I mean, they're already at, so 3 would kill like Zhao and would kill Solka. If they would take that 3. Their Nevermore would be fine, but the other characters would just
You still have to have more on there, yeah.
So it's a risk. I mean, you can still go for it, just hope that it's not the 3 damage trap.
I don't think you do. I don't think I move someone into a trap zone if it could be the thing that takes them out.
No, not me. I'm not a risky player like that. I couldn't do it. Yeah, absolutely. You would do it. You're like, I got it.
I would do it.
Oh, there you go. The Mythic's apologies.
I mean, I'll take a solid love ya, brother.
So Alicia says, Mystic, can you post the Facebook group with the winners and their teams? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mythic will do a full rundown of all that stuff here whenever it's finished. I think that getting it all together and everything, since this is the first tournament, you don't always know what to expect and what to put out there for everybody. But I'm sure they'll go ahead and do that for you.
There's always a difference, too, depending on how you actually get your heroes. So if you're doing a competitive draft versus coming in with a pre-made team of just being able to pick whatever characters you want, that's when I think you see a lot more team crossover. But when you're reacting to the other person picking a character, then you kind of have, okay, well, they're playing that character. Maybe I want to play this character. And you might not be as strong with that character or know that character as much, but you know they're a good counter.
No, that's true.
That makes a really big difference as far as team makeups.
That's very true.
Because there's definitely a time where you can show up with your fancy team and you're like all ready. You come into the scenario and then you find out that way that scenario works, you're dead. You're like, this did not work out in my favor.
I'm surprised that.
Oh, someone just got taken out.
Yep.
Oh.
There's that lightning strike that just hit right there. Totally has to be, right?
Chain lightning.
Chain lightning, yeah.
Chain lightning.
Which is
this is the card that I was talking about. You get that positioned right, you're going to be doing a pile of damage, and it can even stretch onto other players. It didn't in this case, but that was enough to go ahead and wipe out that character there.
Which that's a trophy.
It is, and that's potentially leveling up to a position where you can secure that 2 leveled up.
The other 2 characters leveled up trophy. Ooh, there we go. Are we getting one? Maybe Keldeer's just looking. Okay. You're going to see more people, though, moving towards that blue side.
I like the hand hovering, going, what do I need?
I know, right?
What just got killed there? Is that the one that we didn't think was going to get scored?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, the level up champions one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So too late for that one. And it coming out early game, like we said, we thought that would hit the broken card zone. We just didn't think that it would score.
Yeah.
When it comes out that early, it makes it super, super hard to score. I can't think of any characters that you can bring in there just guns blazing and then take them out. There's too many characters that have higher health
or
have those shields and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. In such a little time, it's only 3 or 4 rounds or something like that. It's not much time to get stuff done while also trying to secure zones and do other things. Like, that's a tough one. That's definitely a mid-game one you want to see come out. And we have Gawain just sitting here in the middle, just doing her thing, like spreading out and making sure that like she can attack all areas of the board. I like that.
She does do most of her attacks. Are they indirect attacks or are they direct attacks only? Where she
are they what?
Are they direct attacks where she can only fire in a line, or can she do indirect attacks where she just has to target within 2 squares of her?
And let me double check. I think Jesse would know more on that one there because I know there's chain lightning, which is just 2 to 3. Which is what was just used. 2 to 3
Chain Lightning's a powerful attack. She also has Ignite, which is going to be 2 away, specifically 2 away. And this is going to give your allies additional attack when she successfully hits. That's going to be after damage.
She's half and half. She's got 2 that are direct line of sight ones, and then she's got 2 that are just indirect anywhere around her.
Right, but in hexes around there.
I mean, but listen up to this. I mean, Flame Spear and Fireball. I'll show these 2 cards real quick. These cards are the cards. They're going to be doing 3 damage apiece, and they're going to be long distance. So her position right there in the middle is going to give her so much availability to hit whoever is vulnerable.
Absolutely. It's a perfect position for Gawain to be in.
Yeah, she's super powerful. And with her teleport, if you can plan and keep her teleport in your hand for as long as possible, just as a potential reaction when you need to get out of the way.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I think, like I said from the very beginning, she's one of, if not my favorite character to play right now.
I think that big thing with the plan is you're either keeping the reactions or you're making sure that you've got multiple attacks from the same character so that you can just do, boom, use your red magic, use your blue magic, and just wipe somebody out with multiple hits.
But Kyol can be a good Gawain counter. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. GloryHoundd, how would you use Kyol to counter Gawain here?
Well, the problem is that they're on the same team. So Gawain and Coliel are on the same team.
Are they? So
yeah.
They're not countering each other. Well, then it doesn't matter. But I think that's a fair point because Kyol has a lot of movement and can get in your face very quickly and pop in and pop out. Now, I have to point out down here, we've got two Xiao faces off here.
Yes.
How, when it comes to the lore and the theme of this, how weird do you think this moment is for these 2 clones of each other facing off in the arena?
It's like when Link had to fight himself, right?
Link and then Dark Link.
You're
That's
fighting yourself. It would be a little weird.
Hard to see who's on which. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Zooming in is all we can do on here, but absolutely. Like we have Sulka, Nevermore, and Su Zhao on one side, and then Gawain and Coliel and another Su Zhao on the other side. We are at, did we just get our final trophy on here?
Holy cow, I believe we did.
Yeah.
And
that is a win.
Did they, let's see. Yeah, they secured it. I mean, they secured it by what? Taking out a few opponents, and then what cards were they able to pull here? What closed the door for this?
I'm looking in here.
One right there.
This one here have 3 champions adjacent to the same statue. No, that was that one. Or just has even dinging them on there. Oh my gosh. How'd that happen so fast?
It's a 5-2, it looks like, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Look at all this damage, though, on there. That was like...
Are they still playing? Not sure.
Maybe finishing the round?
Finishing it up, yeah.
You always know it's over when one opponent just completely drops.
No, it's the flipping the table. Just flipping the table.
That's unsportsmanlike conduct. That's -1 cards for next game.
Yes, physical play when it's safe. I cannot wait for physical play whenever it is safe. Absolutely.
This is going to be a fantastic tournament game.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of tournament games. I love playing in tournaments. I love doing I've done like X-Wing, Attack Wing, Blood Bowl. So like I love doing tournament play in games, and I was excited to have Super Fantasy Brawl here because I want to play.
No,
I want to do.
GloryHoundd, whenever we're at a position where we're doing conventions and getting together in person again, I think we bring our argument. I'm instigating
and bring it to the table.
I think we bring it to the table. I think when Mythic has a full on tournament mode that is going to be in person at one of these larger conventions down the road in a bit, I think you and I sit down and do a showcase event.
That would be fantastic.
Do like an opening ceremony between the two hosts.
That would be awesome.
Again, I'm sorry, I'm leaving you out of this conversation, buddy.
You can be my support. Like you can get my little cards, and then you can put it. Oh, there you go.
I'll be the one who puts that stool out there in case you've tripped.
Oh, no.
No,
I'll get you water and stuff and be like, you got this, you got this, you got this. Spit,
GloryHogg. The secret is, buddy, I'm just scared to play against you.
That's fair.
Aww.
I am definitely I'm not as nice as her when we play tournament style games.
That's very true.
I played a lot of Magic the Gathering tournaments, so I'll be like, she's like, oh, can I take that back? And I'm like, at home? Yeah. Tournament? No. Tournament, I'll be like, ooh, looks like you messed up.
No. Like I'm saying the winning portion. Whenever like you win in a tournament, you're like, yeah, like there it is. You like throw stuff, whatever.
All the time.
No. And then whenever I win, I'm always like, oh darn.
I was gonna say
I won.
Kat, I think you would beat me and then be very nice about it, which would sting a little bit more.
Yes, that's exactly
it actually
how I
hurts
do it.
more. So Mythic said down here, I will post up those 16 players that move on to the next round, but since we didn't have them register their teams, I won't be able to include that information. Okay. So that's one of those things that I think will be interesting to gather as we keep moving on in this tournament.
So I think what we should do is the very last weekend, right? When we're all back together again, the third weekend, maybe we can just actually write it down ourselves and see like what the teams are playing, at least the ones that we could capture.
The finals on those. Well, and hopefully other people who have played went ahead, they can go and comment on that and then leave commentary on what they went ahead and added to that or what their teams were. Because that would be really awesome.
I think we'll see a lot of comments on. Because the people who are victors, they're going to want to be engaging anyway. I think if we put in that post to leave their teams down below or something, we'll probably see some good commentary.
Absolutely, because I would be really curious to see how everybody's games went.
Especially as it kind of whittles down to like the last couple games where you're like, okay, what is everybody fighting against each other and what have they been successful with?
Absolutely. It's safe, everyone. Trust me.
No matter how you say that, it always sounds bad. It doesn't matter
who you are. It doesn't matter what you're saying.
Totally trust me.
I could be baking you cookies and be like, it's safe, everyone. Trust me.
I'm just showing off more miniatures while we have a moment here. Because that pose is epic.
I know. The miniatures are so well crafted. They look so good.
I don't know which one I want to paint first, though. Please do gather the stats announcers, even if manually. I've been running stats on my own practice games. So very interested. Dangle, what are some of the things you've discovered? What team are you currently running that you think has a lot of synergy together? I'd be interested to hear if you've been keeping track of your own plays. I'd love some of that information.
Absolutely. I think that's when the community really gets involved, and then you get people going, well, I played X amount of games with these characters, and these ones do really well. And like, there's nothing better than having that community support of seeing everything on a massive scale and getting all that data and information into one place and being able to determine how you're going to play, what you're going to play with, and why you're going to play with it because of what it's good at and if it's consistent or not.
There are some forum threads on BGG where people are talking about strengths of heroes and what people think are like the better ranked heroes.
Yeah, I've dug into a few of those BGG threads, so I'm interested. That's why I was interested to see what teams we see match up here because I know people are paying attention to it. So let's see who we have here. This is another tournament that's in the middle.
Yes,
it is. So I'm looking for their information.
This is Noob Dodge and Etamafur, and they're running the Zhao again, and then we've got Korvash and Taze, which I'm a huge fan of Taze.
I'm glad we're seeing this battle. Isn't this the one that wasn't quite up and running this morning?
No, they did. I think Noob Dodge must have been declared the winner.
Okay, cool.
But I like that we're seeing Taze. I really enjoy Taze. I think he's a very maneuverable character, and he's got some of those really good finishing blows that like ignore armor and just does a bunch of damage.
Nice.
He's really good for like that last minute kill.
He's one I have not utilized Taze very much.
Let's see. So
we have David here as.
Is this a double Taze match? This is.
Yeah, we got Gwaine over here too. And Nevermore again, and then Taze. But they've got 3 trophies on this side already.
Colin as Noob.
Yep, Nevermore is becoming a consistent figure in a lot of these teams we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the most valuable positioning and support characters on the board.
There's a lot of really good things. When you can swoop through somebody so you don't have to worry about like opponents or statues or traps being in your way and then make people fear and run away from you after that. If you do it right, you can basically use it as a way to push your opponents out of the spots they want to be in and you don't have to worry about anything, which is really nice.
Oh, this is an interesting one here. Have a champion adjacent to each statue, which is an interesting one because that breaks up your group with that, you know?
Yep.
You're controlling the red area and have 2 or more champions adjacent to the blue as a coming up.
Which they don't have anybody over there right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many people do we even have out here? Oh my goodness.
It's all bunched up in this corner.
Oh yeah. Those are going to be some tough challenges to take care of.
I might ignore that every statue requirement and start trying to position for those 2 colored ones because you can group a little bit closer and hopefully secure some ground.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things, because they got Gwaine knocked out right now. So do they go all in and just keep trying to pound on them when they've got most of their characters knocked out and try to just get those wins that way? Or do they like try to go reposition?
I know overall that I've not seen many wins come off of, well, I haven't seen any wins, I know, with the ones that we've played, where just basically hammering into people. Like, it's usually like, that last trophy that you need, you're like, quickly, now I'm going to gank that one character. Get the last trophy. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
Just a single dagger under the ribs.
That's right. Oops. Oh, gosh, that just fell in your direction.
Oh, no, did I actually stab you in the back? My bad.
No, that wasn't supposed to go there. Dang. I keep on moving like 2 mouses now because I have them next to each other. So I'm like messing myself.
It's the level of control. She doesn't want me to have the mouse anymore.
The control.
Denoted.
Hard to judge synergies. Yes, except for anecdotally from my numbers, the most raw, winningest individual heroes in my games are turning out to be Gwaine and Korvash. Interesting. Okay.
Gwaine is really good.
Gwaine's good. Yeah.
But there is one of those things where you have to pick a team that works well with you. And I find that Taze being able to dash a lot, especially as a reaction, is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gwaine is not a surprise on that list. Like I said, there's a few characters we've seen popping up over and over again, not only in my personal play, but here on the table. Korvash is one we have not seen utilized much, though. We were talking about that earlier.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm picking up.
And I was surprised that we're seeing so much Zhu Zhao now because we didn't see any the first rounds.
Right.
Yep.
And now it seems all of a sudden like, oh, every team's got one. So
Korvash is going to be doing a lot of has the potential to do a big area of effect attack. And then some significant damage. I mean, another bruiser with a little bit of range.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Which that's always important too. I typically try to have somebody that's like a melee, a ranged, and then somebody that can do a little bit of support.
I mean,
right?
Chop here is going to be his most significant ability. You know, each deck kind of has a one card that kind of sets the tone for them. This one here is going to be able to gain +2 damage for each target, and it's a full circle, a full ring. So if you're able to get 2 people in your zone, that's a lot of damage going through. The hard part, I think, with him is going to be maneuvering around the board in a way that gets you into a position like that. You're going to need some support characters helping you shift around.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, I never play, what is it, Gawain together with, who was I just looking at here? Oh my gosh, never mind. I forgot what I said. I usually play Gawain with like characters that just fight up close because she's so much further back, but I've never thought of playing her with other characters that also play further back. If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because I already have the one character in the back and I figure, okay, well, they're kind of maneuverable. They can go here and there and then attack from far away. But having like 2 further back, then like doesn't all the focus just go on the one character that's left there?
I could see
standing in the middle.
I could see a strategy though, but going with like a Gawain and like say someone like a German who's all about the traps and range, and like a Solka where you just stay away, but you're just blasting people basically. So you keep control by just killing their characters that are trying to take control. You could definitely go with that type of strategy. If they all do enough damage from range, you never have to be face to face with them, which can negate some teams if they go heavy with the melee characters.
So we just secured another trophy here.
Yeah, now it's 2-3.
Knocked out Nevermore there.
Man, it can change so quickly. Because I was just about ready to say, oh man, they have like a really good lead with 3 trophies. I mean, they only really need to score one of those challenge cards on here, and then
they're in a good position for controlling the red zone, though.
Yeah, that is true. Well, it is always interesting. Once somebody gets that 3 trophy range, you're just like, oh man, I can't let them get one of those.
Right. Then it's like a fight to the death on anything. It's like if you even get near any of these goals, like it's on like Donkey Kong.
What's our trophies for over here? Like, what are our different challenges that are going to be moving over?
Well, and the challenge starts to become, once you're in that 2 away from the victory position, the challenge becomes determining if you're on your heels or not. Are you playing defensive or playing aggressive? And if you're playing defensive, that's when you need to start switching up your game. You've got to get the other person to a defensive position because they're going to be able to, if they're playing more aggressive, the odds are, unless you take them out, they're going to be able to secure those trophies before you.
Right. And it looks like having a character next to each statue and then having the red area are going to be the things that are scoring you 2 trophies here very soon.
Yep.
So now would be the time to set those up.
And it's being like, it's obviously becoming a rush to this red area here that's filled with traps and everything.
Gwen's got her teleport. If she's able to do a teleport 4, she can pop right next to that blue statue. There is a good opportunity here for her to kind of pull a surprise maneuver. It just depends on the card draw.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, keep moving the wrong mic.
It's fine.
Here.
Wow.
You should get Jesse's mic and use his mic too, or his
I know. I keep moving
his mouse.
Wrong mouse. I'm gonna get Jesse's mouse in here. I'm gonna get everybody's mouse in here. I'm gonna control everything.
Works for me. I've got one of these weird little Apple mouses that don't have any buttons or keys, or you put it in your hand and you're like, how am I supposed to use this?
You know what? That messed me up. So I only use PCs, and whenever I first sat in front of one of those, like, because they're new and like my dad actually had the pad that's like flat and everything that's used as the mouse. I was like, how do I operate this thing? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, no, it's just like this. I'm like, oh, this is weird. I need my mouse, my regular mouse. It has clicky things on it. It's all good.
So let's see here. As far as the board layout goes, I'm trying to keep an eye on our teams. We've got both of the Taz right up there against the red statue. Gwen, like I said, can pop into the blue. Nevermore still off the board though, and the opposite player is defending that yellow statue pretty significantly. I can see a shot where Gwen actually pops over into yellow and Nevermore tries to secure blue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Nevermore
it's going to depend on what comes into their hand.
Nevermore is a good character to do that with because he does have some cards where he can do some really good movement. He can get over there in time if needed. But it's still a matter of getting them off the board and getting them there, you know?
My sense right now is that the player who has Gwen and Nevermore on their team, I think they're probably playing defensive at the moment. They just got both characters knocked out. They're spawning back onto the board. And the opposite player has a lot of security on that red zone.
Yeah, I think it's going to get the red zone.
My concern is I would almost give up those 2 trophies knowing that won't be victory. And try to position myself to score that beside both statues. You've got to not play defensive in this moment.
Exactly. And because you're not going for something to take it over. You're just trying to get the win. So you got to work for those. Let them get those 2 trophies. Exactly. They're not going to get the win. Go for something else and then get the win, because they're occupied with something else. Like, try to, moving over there. Like they were listening.
What we're talking about might be. Well, I do listen. I do have Ether on call, by the way. So the only problem is I'm not sure which Taz just moved.
Oh yeah, that's tough. I'll have to go on the overhead screen here. Let me see if I can see which one is on which ring. I'm not for sure. I don't see any rings around them on this view.
I don't. I'm not sure that they have signifiers here on Tabletopia to let us know. They, of course, as players, are fully aware of where they're positioned.
Yeah.
But, I'm not sure that we're going to have a good insight into that.
And it does make that a little bit difficult, especially when they're playing mirror match style characters. You're like, which one is theirs?
I just want to do a full Taz team. Can I buy 3 copies of this game and just run the same character 3 times?
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't know. I mean, unless I hear official word from Mythic, I think as long as I own 3 cores, I'm allowed to play whatever characters I want. Yeah.
Mythic, the trick would be if you had 3 cores, where would you store them all? Because that's like the box is so big.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That would be tough. That's a lot of storage.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably take 2 of the cores out. I'd leave 1 box immaculately displayed on a shelf, and then I'd stack all my game trays like tucked away in the corners of one of my bookshelves. I think that'd be my strategy for it.
There you go. That always does become kind of the problem as you get a bigger collection. Is figuring that out, like what to do with all of your games.
Mine just extend onto the floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I try to make rules like we won't fill up another Calyx, but the next thing you know, we're buying another Calyx.
Here's the thing. So one of my friends, Sean, who is a weekly player with me, seen him on the channel. If anyone follows Quackalope, he came over the other day. I not only send him and Max home with games all the time. Yesterday, I sent him home. He has a family of 6, right? So yesterday, I sent him home with a 3DS and a PlayStation 4 Pro that haven't been touched in probably a year and a half. So I'm just getting rid of stuff at this point. If you want anything I own, I have so many board games coming in. Everything else has got to go.
Can I have your YouTube channel?
Yeah. I think he needs that. Yeah.
Okay.
Not just anything, Doctor.
I gotta be honest though.
I own.
If I gave GloryHogg my YouTube channel, I'd probably get less board games.
He would do really bad things with it. You don't want to do that, okay?
Okay.
That's fair.
Listen, I'm open to a discussion as long as you stay as loyal to ducks as I am, which means you are going to have to adopt some.
Adopt some ducks? Well, actually, you know what? My boss, Noah, with Game Trays, has ducks. He's got like 5 or 6 ducks.
I appreciate that your boss has them. That's not you having them.
Well, I'm assuming that I could probably get a duck, is what I'm saying. He said he would send me one. Because apparently you can mail ducks in the mail, which is not something I was aware of.
Oh, yeah.
You can mail a duck on over?
A lot of foul creatures can actually be mailed in the mail. So here's the thing. From a point of being hatched to the point where they actually need to be consuming food and water, there's about a 24-hour cycle. And because our post office system has established itself in a way to really cater towards rural and farming America. You can order ducks, chickens, a lot of other foul kind of farm animals through post. So they'll hatch and then they'll do a 1 day delivery, making sure they stay warm and safe and secure, and they'll arrive on your doorstep.
That is the craziest thing ever. That I had no idea. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was actually part of the infrastructure that was built into our post system to allow support into those rural America.
Well, that's what everybody always kind of forgets, is that once you move outside of the cities, there is no UPS and Amazon and FedEx. It's almost always the U.S. Postal Service taking that Amazon package and then doing the rest of the delivery to those rural areas.
It's really cute because they'll just be a box of peeps showing up. Like you'll hear it because they show up at your doorstep. The postman makes sure you sign for them, and you just hear this box full of echoing peeps. My grandfather's ordered a lot of chickens that way.
Like if you get a duck, I feel like it's mandatory that you have to like have a duck bath. Like you sit in a little bath and you have little ducks swim around and stuff. Like you have to do that, right?
Listen, GloryHoundd, my 5-year plan does 100% involve owning a pond with some ducks. There's no way my channel doesn't start to transition to just being a nature documentary.
Just ducks, all ducks.
All ducks, all the time. 24-hour ducks.
What you do is you set up one of those wildlife cam things, right? And you set it up so whenever you're not playing games, the whole rest of the time, it's just your ducks frolicking around.
Aww.
I love it. And here's the thing. I'd probably get more views.
Probably. That's actually probably a fact.
That's something we've discussed. Like the people who do just more general mainstream things, like we think of somebody like a big channel, you're like, oh, that channel's got 50,000 subscribers. That's a big board game YouTube channel. And then you go look at someone who does hair stuff and it's like 5 million subscribers. And you're like, cool.
But
here's how can we get board games into your hair?
Here's the exciting thing. Well, that's one of the questions that we're trying to ask. And I think collaborating and working with more, diverse content creators is part of that.
Oh, absolutely.
But one of the things for me is I think our industry is just getting started, right? I'm super excited to see, games like this, tournaments like this that are happening. Our industry over the last 15 years, 20 years has expanded and developed alongside the video game dev side in a really cool way. So, if you're here, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, you're on the leading edge of this. Trust me.
Well, just as it is, having the ability to get on here and go on Tabletopia and watch these tournaments and be able to play in these tournaments or be able to play games online and stuff like that has been so helpful. And it's so fun to see that cross and its availability to people being able to play with people across the world, I
think that's been a really big thing during COVID. Like, since we already had the YouTube channel beforehand and we were doing board game stuff, we just increased it. We were like, okay, we're doing one thing a week. And then we were like, okay, I guess we're going to do 3 times a week now because people are just like looking for things to do. And when you're trapped in your house
and being able to show them
the convention you did for
the convention we ran, big. It was hashtag screw loneliness because you don't. Really, like that was our motto. The whole idea was we have an industry that requires and invests in these personal relationships, and we're here because I think desperately need them. And they're not gone just because the world's shifted a little bit for the last few months, right? So just like we're doing here, running a tournament, live streaming, talking about it, there's other ways to connect. GloryHoundd, you do live streams every single week. Connecting with your fan base. We have a Discord over that we have daily games with the paddle members. So there's a lot of good ways to get connected to the people you care about.
Absolutely. And this, I'm so excited because Tabletop Sim and Tabletopia were underutilized, I think. And then now this year, they're being used so much more. You can see that more funding has been put into them. More companies are putting more games out on them, which is so amazing, especially because we love talking about Kickstarters and stuff. And that's huge, being able to try these games out before you actually go ahead and buy them, like with Super Fantasy Brawl and stuff. If you're looking at this tournament and you're going, oh man, this looks like so much fun, but I don't know if I want to get it. You can try it ahead of time.
Gwen just moved in. Do they have a card that does significant amount of damage? This could be game.
I know, it's super close right now.
They just got to kill one other character.
Oh!
I saw that card go down, and I was like, teleport's being activated. Let's see what they have in store.
See, Battlecry says, we can make furniture out of board games. I want the board game throne with all the board games, and then you sit on the little board game throne. That's the furniture I'm going for.
I think with the way Battlecry keeps tricking everybody into going premium, that there'll be a lot more investment into this.
A lot more investment into Tabletopia.
Sylvian, hello. Thanks for being here. Super excited to have you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I just keep on waiting.
I see this hand moving. They're doing math. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I keep on waiting for this final blow to happen. Are we going to get some trophies from one of the cards here?
Right.
Are we going to keep somebody
activated.
out?
What are we dropping? Because you don't move into a vulnerable position like that if you don't have something up your sleeve. What do we do there? Okay. Tor, and this is going to be Taz or ally may -2.
Okay.
So positioning.
Which is huge, being able to have one of your allies dash. You normally can't.
You think he's going for, you think they're going for on the side of every...
One of each? Yeah, maybe.
It's so close to being cycled, though, if it's not already. I think it's gone. I think it's gone. That one's going to...
It's
that
there,
one's
but it's going to cycle.
Yeah.
Huh.
What are they doing?
I wish I could just, like, tune in and hear
in.
them mumbling under their breath.
I know, right?
Okay, so they're definitely shutting down red. That was where that teleport came into play, making sure they didn't have the game there, but they're securing their opponent from being able to actually claim that red on the top of their turn. Because when it was positioned the other way, that would have been victory for the orange player there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because anybody's game right here, we just need one trophy here or two over there, and then that's game.
That is one cycle.
Right, you can't let them get that red area there.
Question is, how do they respond? Do they move over into blue, try to hold that down a little bit?
I mean, that's another 2 trophy card there, you know?
And they'll have that for an entire cycle.
Everybody's right there. There's so many characters in that one spot.
What's our health at right now? Who's the most vulnerable in this position?
Looks like we got 4 health over here, or 4 damage over here.
Okay, but that out of 9, you got 5 left. That's, I mean, you're not too vulnerable.
And then over here, we just got another 2.
No one's too weak. We're not going to see characters get knocked out right now.
Which is what I was thinking was going to happen to seal the deal.
No, this is going to you're going to have to take a challenge card. You're going to have to take one of the cards to make this happen.
Or use like all 3 of your magics to go ahead and do like
but that's a risky play though, because if they have a reaction card, it's just risky at that point. And at this point in the game, you can't be risky because it's anybody's game. Well, you can be risky, but I would not be risky. Okay, that's not my jam.
Yeah, I'd immediately try to spread after this. I'd be looking at the next card that's cycling down. We've got that blue. I believe that's have 2 characters next to that blue statue there. I'd just try to step over to the side and see if I can secure that at the top of the next round. Maybe get all 3 next to it if I have the maneuverability to do so.
Especially with so many characters being in one place at one time, you're just leaving yourself open to all sorts of plays with getting like hit or push.
Heavy damage there that just came through though. That's 5 total out of which character is that over there?
Oh, way over here.
Yep. Which one? How much health do we have? That's Taz. All right. I mean, 5 out of 9. You still got 4 health. You're probably still in a pretty safe position.
And he does have that reaction card that gives him armor too, and lets him dash.
This is down to the line here. This is an intense game. Let's change it to a different one. No.
I would genuinely be a little frustrated.
Someone just got knocked out.
Did they really?
Taz just got knocked out. They just pulled him off.
Oh.
There it is. There's a 4th one. Now it's 4-4.
No.
They did. They were able to take him out.
I did not see that happening.
It was only 4 damage.
What card did they pull? Yeah, what card did they pull to do that damage?
So you have all the money. She's like looking at me like, are you going to scroll around? Like,
where is it at? I don't see it out.
Right up here.
Well, she
has
where's
there
my mouse? Did you take my mouse as well?
For real.
There we go. Yeah, I'm taking everybody's mice.
All right.
Yeah, see, there's 2 damage. There's 2 damage. There's a pull.
2 damage. Must not have had a block.
Bloodied does extra damage. Saps strength.
And just a perfect combination there with 2 of the characters that had some damage available.
And they're going to be getting extra damage on this and stuff. So, man.
Nice. Good for them.
Yeah, for real.
I did not see someone getting knocked out.
Me neither. Oh, did somebody get a... Oh, no, they're just changing it up. I was like, oh my gosh, did somebody get a challenge?
But take a look at them now. Well, basically, if they score any challenge now, they'll win. But it's... Yeah, which is important, though, because it is 4. They have 4 people in there. And I don't think anybody has control of the red right now.
No, perfectly tight on the red at the moment. That'll cycle through.
But that's already cycling through,
So that was really good, because they were able to kill a character, which made them the other player lose control, plus get a trophy.
I think the most likely now are going to be probably that 3 adjacent to the same statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you only have both teams.
Everybody's
just move
clustered up
anyway
over there. Yeah.
That, or we see someone potentially step over to blue. I mean, that's the play I would have probably tried to make if I was in this.
Are you trying to say you do the sneaky play and just scoot yourself on over to blue at the last minute?
I like trying to hold position if I can, because it can be at times hard to, if you have the right characters, it can be hard to maneuver people away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I like being in a position where it's up to my opponent to move me, basically, because then they can fail if they don't have the right card.
Yep.
And if you're in our chat today, make sure to go ahead and say hello. We're here to talk to all of you out there. And let us know what your favorite character to play is. If you
we
play
have a chat.
Home.
I was just watching a game.
I know. I was getting intense in the game too. But I kind of want to know what all of our viewers like what their favorite combinations are as well.
Paper favorite one is the yellow one. So I think they're talking about
just
Jessie.
The yellow one.
Jessie's their favorite character.
The Quackalope. You just put the duck out there on the hex.
Listen, I am super excited for the expansions that are coming out. That Quackalope, I really appreciate Mythic Games being willing to put a Quackalope into their title.
Hello, Tico. How are you doing?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen, Jesse. I think it's going to happen for you.
I think if I pretend it did.
Oh. One of the characters went offline.
Now, see, this is why we should have switched over right here at this key pivotal moment of everything happening.
Wait, it's too close to have someone go offline. GloryHoundd, jump in, finish the game.
I got this. Hold on.
I know I would be freaked out. There's nothing worse than being in a tournament and then you have computer issues.
Oh my goodness, right? I would be so upset. I'd be like,
the only thing that makes me more nervous than that is being on a live stream for 4 hours straight and needing to not have computer issues. That's
That's fair.
What? What? That's no sweat. No sweat.
I don't worry about that at all.
Yeah,
live streams are the perpetual pressure of when is something I don't control going to go wrong?
Yeah.
You know what? I found that you just kind of have to roll with it because stuff does go wrong, and you kind of just have to expect it with live stuff. Like something will happen.
I recommend praying, maybe leaving a little food out.
Oh yeah, you do your offerings to the PC gods. Like in the beginning, like when you had your Nintendo and you would blow into the little cartridge, and then you click it up and down.
That works though, doesn't it?
It does, but you always have to do it, and you never talk bad about the Nintendo because Nintendo knows.
No.
Okay, yeah. As soon as you talk bad, it stops working.
I've heard that.
It's just like, what is it? The Xbox, exactly 2 years. Once it gets to its warranty, it's 3 days after you shall get your red ring.
I do not trust warranties. Wait for the results. 4-4.
Okay, so 4 points and 4 points. So it was a draw on that. So it was a draw because they are timed at an hour on that. So
that dropout tied it. What a good game though, man! I feel bad. That internet connection got in the way there.
I know because they were really trying to edge out that last win, so that's going to cost them endpoints on that in their rankings. Oh my goodness, that was an intense round. That was so intense.
It'll be interesting to see how they end up going with that.
Oh, Battlecry says a phone call interrupted the modem. Back in the day.
I remember playing Bugdom when I was 8, which was this. I don't know if y'all remember Bugdom, but it was all the rage when I was in middle school, and I would have to coordinate around dial-up, shutting down when I wanted to play my video game. Yep,
I would download stuff on the internet, except I would let it go all night, so I'd wait until everybody was sleeping, and I'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna download this video so I can watch it. I'm gonna leave it off all night." So I would log in, set it up, and then it'd go all night, so you wouldn't have that interruption of the phone line and everything. I'm so glad we don't have to do that now, and it's lightning fast download speeds.
You don't have to do that?
Holy crap. Oh.
I have told everyone here not to get on the phone this entire time. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, that is awkward.
We do make our kid get off Fortnite sometimes.
Here's the worst thing. It's Sarah's birthday, and I've told her she can't talk to anyone.
Well, I'm sure it's fine.
Let's see here.
And this is another finished match. So it doesn't look like we have any more live matches going right now.
Have a good one. Have a good one, Phantom of Truth. Did you get us another matchup?
No, this is one of the finished ones that we were watching before.
Ones on there? Okay.
Doesn't look like there's another live one going right now.
Well, it is getting down to our time here. They should be most of them should be wrapping up at this point, I think. So as far as like the takeaways from everything that we've seen here today.
I mean, clearly Gwen's the most valuable character you can have on your team.
And the VIP
I said from
today.
the very beginning.
It was interesting in round 2 how we started seeing so much Zhu Zhao like that. Like we didn't see him at all, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, now that people are pairing up again, he started showing up all over the place.
Yeah, Zhu Zhao is a character that I actually have not played a whole lot with. I have to say I probably stick to the darker looking character for some reason.
I'll tell you the 2 big takeaways I've garnered, and I'd love to hear your perceptions of this too. The 2 things
and
that I've noticed. And the chat for sure.
Yeah.
I really liked the combination play. We chatted about setting up Marise's to trigger that special ability.
Yep.
I haven't yet personally built a deck around the idea of positioning someone to activate their special power. I like that strategy. I think that can be a really interesting way to approach the game. And the other thing is, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've seen a lot more payoff from maneuverable and ranged characters on the board than we have full brute force attack. Now, Doug Run and I think it was Goldar had a nice combination there for a 5-0 victory, but I think that's the only one that we saw that was really a hold your ground, be a bruiser. Everything else has been much more nimble.
Oh, absolutely.
I think so. Because you can position yourself in a way where like your opponent can't even touch you, and that I think is almost more valuable than anything. This game really is, on its surface, you think, oh, I'm just going to go there and beat somebody up like you would like in an unmatched game or something like that.
Yep.
But in reality, it's all about maneuverability, moving, pushing your opponent, because you have to hold the line through your whole turn and to get through their turn. So you're just trying to, you're like, oh, you're about to score, push them out. Now I'm about to score. And there's a lot of tug and pull that you don't normally see in a lot of these types of games.
Absolutely. I think that we're really like Zhu Zhao, having him come up so often and everything, and me wanting to revisit that and everything. I've definitely seen some characters that I'm like, all right, I need to make sure that I'm trying some of these characters out and playing with them in different combinations and everything. Because whereas I thought those were not super like strong characters before, now I'm seeing, okay, maybe if I can use them in this sort of combination, like they're just going to be better, you know? I know for me, Gwen and then Sulka and Marutz, I love the little tiger, the little Marutz guy. He is one of my favorite characters to play with, but it's more of that maneuverability and then like turn and burn sort of thing. Like I know he's going to die. I know he's going to get out there. He's probably going to die multiple times, but he's cannon fodder. And then I have maneuverability in my other characters with that and lots of long range stuff.
And see, like Taze is, I think, my favorite. He's been in every match I've played because I just love that he can dash. He can do those killing blows if he needs to. And he still has 9 hit points.
And it was good to see that play out in that, you know? Not just in my stuff, but in other people's stuff too. So at least I know I'm doing something right.
And some of the characters we haven't seen utilized yet. I don't believe we saw Darren utilized. I don't think we saw Arquette utilized.
Right.
Maybe only one utilization of Wrath out here on the board.
Just one, that's all I saw.
So there's definitely some characters, and I don't know if it's if the art doesn't appeal to people, so they don't grab them as quickly, or if it's actually the strategic abilities. I want to dig into those and see what type of team I might build around those characters that we haven't seen on the table.
Which Daru is really interesting with all the different trap plays, and then Wrath is the rat that burrows, and I always thought that was really good to be able to burrow, pop up, do a bunch of damage, and then leave.
Get back out.
He does. He comes in, does damage, and leaves, and that could be really helpful.
Are there characters that we didn't see a lot of play with? Like, what ones do we think that we're missing? Like
Arquette, we haven't seen any play with.
Oh yeah, that's right, Arquette. That's right.
Yeah, we didn't see them at all.
That's right.
Which is a little frustrating given the state of the bird, representation in this game. Honestly.
Okay, so it's about 4 or 5 minutes for the next round to begin. Matchups coming soon. Thank you so much, Mythic, on that for the update. Fantastic. Yeah,
Still
I really
no confirmation on that Quackalope promo, though. I mean,
none.
And I think, I got to be honest, I could see a hog and a hound in here as well.
There you go. Oh, I would be an awesome
I have
hound.
a feeling it'll be like some type of werewolf character riding on a war pig. And it's going to end up happening.
Oh my god,
I'm
that
so
would be
in for that.
amazing.
I'm so in for that.
That would be so amazing. I would totally be down for that as well.
I mean, I'm thinking heavy maneuverability and heavy defense. Not a lot of, like, not a bruiser, but just and maybe instead of doing heavy damage, your warhog or warhound, whatever it is, can actually shift and push people out of the way as if the hog's just
that would be
through.
awesome. Just going through
one
bumping
of my strongest
people.
personal maneuvers is just being big and bumping into people.
That's right. I think that's fair. I think
it
is a viable strategy.
It's very helpful when you're wandering a convention floor.
That's it. I'm not going anywhere near that one.
It is useful though. She does follow behind me at conventions. People get out of my way.
Yeah, it's like
but they don't get out of her way. She's so short.
My theory in groups like that is just if you look forward, don't make eye contact, and walk confidently, most of the time you'll make it through.
Fair.
Most of the time.
You say that. When you're at like a head level, sometimes there's a lot of tall people at conventions for some reason, or maybe I'm just really short.
I'm only 5'6". I mean, you know.
It's a sea of backpacks. I'm like, I can't see anything.
I hold Jan's hand and I let him weed through the crowd in front of me, just by the pinky finger though, because it's more cute.
That's cute.
Oh,
that is
BFFs.
Does he carry you on his shoulder sometimes so that you can see above the crowd?
He hasn't yet, but I hope that's something that'd be a dream come true. I love that I'm infecting. You know, there's this weird culture in my community of people shipping Jan and I together, and I'm just infecting your stream with it at this point. You know, we're just carrying it forward.
All right, so I'm talking to Mythic Games right now, and it says that they will be posting the rankings and the 16 that are moving to the next round on Facebook later. So they still have a round that they're setting up here in about 4 to 5 minutes. And if you guys are interested, any of you out there are interested in watching those on your own, you can go to Tabletopia and you can actually go ahead and click on there. You can type in Super Fantasy Brawl and see some of the games that they have there, and you can actually spectate on those on your own. But once everything is finished, they will be posting all of the rankings. If anybody is watching that knows anybody playing in those, let them know that we would love to see their comments on what they were using, their thoughts on going into some of those.
Definitely.
Like, I'd really love to see some more information on those and our community commenting on that. That would be really fantastic. And then I will be posting the next few tournaments. We're going to be doing 2 more tournament weekends. Really excited about it. We're going to be with Quackalope Games talking about this. So it's
with his better half.
Well, with his better half next week.
So Jan's going to be here next week. I'm going to be in for the finale. You know, Quackalope, like we're gonna have a good time. Jan is much more analytical than me, so I'm interested to see how he approaches
in-depth analytics on everything.
Has he ever won this game? That's what I really want to know.
No, he understands the strategy of it. He's never once won a game, I think.
Analytics only get you so far.
He's yelling at me from across the room.
You have to have the heart of the cards.
Yeah, Jan,
you
just don't have the heart of the cards, buddy.
That's it. You have to have the heart of the cards.
Well, and make sure to like and subscribe to everybody. And if you're on YouTube, ring the bell, because whenever Mythic Games goes live, then you're going to know whenever the next tournaments start and everything. And we'll have more commentary for all of you out there and everything. So, Quackalope, do you want to go ahead and give everybody your information on where to find you at?
If you search Quackalope in Google, you will find. So we're the only. I mean, it's weird that a historical and still in existence biological creature that is in almost every single ornithological study possible does not have more presence when it comes to online communities. But if you just Google search Quackalope, you'll find our YouTube, our Facebook, our Discord, anything you want to connect with us at. That's usually the best way.
Fantastic.
We're working on that duck hashtag. We'll get there one day.
Oh,
so
that
you have
would be
the
fantastic.
opposite problem we have. So there's a GloryHoundd band with just one D at the end.
Make sure you add the 2 Ds, because you don't want to go to the band.
I'll tune you into the real problem I have. The reason we operate as like Quackalope and not Jesse Anderson is because Jesse Anderson, Heart of the Cards, is a blue-haired Yu-Gi-Oh character.
Oh, really?
I swear. Search the reason my name is always Jesse Samuel Anderson is both because I love my grandfather named after him, and because I can't compete with Yu-Gi-Oh! I just can't.
You can't. See, my only hope is that one day that I'll overtake the GloryHoundd band, and instead of GloryHoundd band showing up, I'll just show up. So.
GloryHoundd band's going online going, man, that double D, that was the trick.
Dang it.
People are coming on here and they're complaining about how we're really bad at music and we have no board games. What is wrong with our fans? I want people to show up at their concert and be like, where's Side? We want Side. We want Side. That's what I want to see happen.
If you find out where they're playing, I'm comfortable doing
it.
Just to quack at them.
There you go.
Aggressively.
So if you're watching at home, make sure to head on over to Tabletopia if you want to see more of the in-action sports happening here for Super Fantasy Brawl. And make sure to follow everybody on all of the social medias.
Mythic, GloryHoundd.
That's right. So you get notified whenever everybody goes live and everything for that. Other than that, I believe we are going to be signing off for the day as soon as I get my mouse up here.
Somewhere.
We'll see all of you later. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.